now co-host. So is Will. Bob to great co-host. Okay, you're live.
Okay.
And then Nicole Rodriguez, I believe. You're live and you're unmuted.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the July 2025 CB2 Street Activities Committee meeting. I'm Will Benish, the chair of CB2 Street Activity Committee. In the room with us, we have Eddie Siegel and Rocio Sands as well from the committee. Just bear with us 1 or 2 minutes. We will get started in just about 2 minutes. Thank you.
All right, you're Trishant, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm Mark. I think we said that. So when you come, you sign in, excuse me.
There you go.
Okay, thanks everybody for waiting. So again, we're now going to get started. This is the July Street Activity and Resiliency Committee for Manhattan CB2. I've already introduced Eddie and Rocio and myself, and we also have Ryder Kessler from the committee in. So we have a quorum and we will get started. We're going to get started actually with the CVBA block party, which we have listed as number 14 as a renewal. However, it hasn't been held since 2016. So and we have the Central Village Block Association here in the room with us. So we're going to go ahead and start with that event, and then we'll go back to the regular agenda.
Do you have the link? I didn't get the link to the meeting today. I didn't.
I'll send it to you.
Thank you.
So yeah, if you guys want to go ahead and come up here, just so we can hear you on it, and just tell us a little bit about the event, and then we may have a couple questions after that. So welcome. And feel free to introduce yourselves as well, so the people online.
Kathy Arnson, Chair of the Central Village Block Association.
Great.
And we've going to have the.
Can you speak a little louder? Sorry.
So they can pick it up.
Oh, okay. Kathy.
And also, I can't hear you very well.
Kathy Arnson, Chair of the Central Village Block Association. My husband, Leif, is producing the block party, or, I guess we'll call it a block party concert on Saturday, September 27th. And he'll describe what it's all about.
So we've done this concert, I think 10 times between 2005 and 2016. And it's pretty simple. It takes a little bit of doing, but we bring in a temporary stage on the day of, set it up throughout the afternoon, and then we try to get rolling as close to 6 o'clock as possible with live music. And then try to be done by 9, and then break it down, load up, and pull out. The music is varied in the past. We're not quite sure exactly what we're presenting this year, but we're working on it. We wanted to wait till we got through this process first before we decided exactly. But the main thing is to present a family concert, family of musicians, nephews, nieces, cousins, brothers, sisters, and so forth. So I'm not sure who can actually make the concert yet, but it'll be a family concert. And there's nothing for sale, although what we do is we do have tables set up for raffle tickets, things like that, to raise money through for the CVBA. But we don't have anything for sale. There's no commercial goods for sale. There's no alcohol. Everything that's brought to the event is donated in terms of water, sodas, things like that. When we set up, usually we set up 100 chairs right on the street and set up the stage. And then we set up a little tarp system across the street behind the stage, acts kind of like a band shell, and it kind of focuses the sound down through the street. And we don't publicize it. We don't publicize it on purpose. We don't really need to. Once you hear the sound, people come in from the block, and whoever's around can come and sit down for the concert. Of course, it's a neighborhood thing. So it's largely neighborhood folks that are coming in to enjoy the concert. And what else? Yeah, pretty much that's it. It's just to raise awareness for quality of life issues in the village. That's why we started the concert in the first place. We were just trying to bring attention to the work that the CVBA was doing in the neighborhood, and to encourage folks to participate wherever they could in community affairs or quality of life issues. And that's it. That's kind of what the concert's about.
Okay, so 6 to 9 on the 27th, and what day of the week is that?
Saturday. We don't have a rain date or anything like that.
Yeah. I don't think Staple allows you to put in a rain date.
Yeah.
A rain date. So, I can send this to you if you haven't looked at already. Maybe you did look on the website. The SAPO has all kind of the guidelines for block parties.
Yes.
Yeah. So you see that there's a separate permit to do a raffle that you have to get from the Human Resources Administration.
Okay.
And then is the sound going to be amplified, or is it acoustic?
Yes, we need to get a sound permit from the 6th precinct, as well as parking tickets. So typically,
No parking.
we will go to, if we get approved and so forth, then we'll go to the 6th precinct, and then they'll issue us parking signs that we can use. They'll also schedule the closure of the street for that day.
Yeah.
Between that time, they drop off, I think, a couple of barricades on the end of Cornelia Street and Bleecker Street, and then they give you some sound permit. I donate the sound stuff, so there's no. I mean, like I said, there's no commercial aspect to it. So as far as raffles, we're not gonna. If it's gonna require a permit, we're not gonna do it.
Yeah, it's from the it's just an HRA permit. I'm not 100% sure how involved it is, because we don't usually see raffles, but It's on the link if you want to check it out and you can see how involved that are. And then so other than the concert, are there any other elements? Are there like games or anything, or that's basically just the concert?
Just the concert, that's it, really.
Did you say why you were bringing it back after the hiatus?
Well, we've been saying it every year since we did it, and just one thing or another got in the way.
Sure.
Really, at the time, there was other things going on with the IFC, and there was kind of people on the block. There was a lot of construction going on.
Then we have
And then
COVID.
we had COVID,
So
and
that
I know how it goes.
a few years.
COVID just disrupted pretty much any opportunity. So now that's sort of the first year where there's space, then we thought, okay, let's give it a shot, try it again.
Great.
And did you have any like pushback or anything last time you did it, or was it pretty much everybody on the block was supportive of it?
We didn't have
Yeah,
any,
I don't think, I mean, it's only for 3 hours, so. And at the time we were doing it once a year, so it was just like 3 hours once a year. Didn't really seem to bother anyone.
yeah, some
Everybody's-
people wanted to see my
everybody
father
pretty much
come
enjoys
back, but he's 97 now, so he can travel. He's in Vancouver. But he can't do it anymore, but other than that,
I have some questions. So music will be amplified, you said,
yes,
and raffles.
yes.
And I remember attending the event and actually purchasing CDs from you. So they were for sale, they weren't given away. Are you going to be selling them or giving them away this time?
So I think what we did before was the musicians had CDs, their own CDs,
No, it
and
was
so I
yours.
went to the musicians.
I think it was yours.
Yeah, well, they're all my family, so.
They don't go to the block association.
But
They don't
I
go to the
remember
block
purchasing one, so that's my question. Are you
So
gonna
that is a good question. Are the musicians allowed to sell their CDs?
I don't
Raise
think so
money.
at a block party now. You can't have anything for sale.
So I'm not-
Just according to the safe rules.
Then the other
Right.
question
So,
being,
no.
you're very concerned about quality of life, and you mentioned it a couple of times in your testimony now. My question to you is, how is the quality of life of the people that live in those old residential buildings going to be affected by the sound of the amplified sound of the music that's being played? Not everyone may personally like the kind of music that will be played, so how are you going to prevent, how are you going to cater to those people who may not want to hear the music? Right, I understand it's only 3 hours, but not everyone may be in favor of this. Did you publicize that you were doing this?
We really didn't publicize it.
Did you get
It's
any
still
of the
2 months away,
neighbors?
right? It's still 2 months away, so you could.
But are the neighbors in favor of this event?
All the neighbors I
They all
know,
show up there and have a good time, so it seems like
Did you
everyone.
contact them this year that you're going to be doing this? That's the
No.
question.
Well, we were waiting to get
Just-
through the system before we
We'll let-
do any
but
kind of.
then we'll let the block association members know for sure in advance. If anybody,
You recommend flyering all the buildings on your block.
what's that?
You just recommend flyering the buildings on your block.
Let them know that this is happening and that the street will be closed. And the
Right.
people who need to have
We
car
did,
transportation can get to the main doors of their buildings. That's important too. But besides that, I wanted to know what arrangements have you made besides having the barricades closing the street at both ends? I imagine you would do that. As you know, there have been many horrible things that happen at block parties and these kinds of events and parades. Are you going to have any other protection besides barricades?
You mean security personnel? What exactly?
I'm asking you what protections you will have to protect the people that are sitting down or standing there listening to the concert and music.
I think the NYPD will determine probably what.
No, but I'm saying, I know that I've seen in other block association parties, schools events, they usually close the streets, not just with barricades, but cars to prevent another car from coming and trying to go through the barricades. So I'm just taking the extra, I'm asking the question with the precaution of having people's lives. Make sure they're safe. So think
Well-
about something else. I mean, the police, I'm sure will do something, but
Well, they.
Have to
they-
consider.
They've set up the barricades at the end of the block, so the cars can't enter the block.
One end they
except
can't get in.
if they go
because the
fast enough, they
stage-
can.
But
The stage itself sets up a barricade at that one end of Cornelia Street.
Yeah.
The Cornelia and Bleecker, I don't remember if there were any, they set up the barricade.
find out from
I
them,
don't
might
think any
be, we'll talk to
policemen are
Officer
there.
Cannon.
Have to make sure that everyone is safe.
Yeah, sure. Well, that's, yeah, that's big, it's always a concern of ours. When we always put up a poster in advance so that it gives the time and what's going on. So it's not, we do publicize it to that degree. We're locally putting up a poster which describes the event, and so hopefully,
How far in advance will you be doing that?
Yeah.
like a week in advance. Right. The more we do it further.
Look, for earlier is always better if you can. Yeah, like once you have all the details sorted out, maybe a couple weeks in advance.
2 weeks,
Yeah,
fine.
I think that's better than that. All right,
How many people do you expect to attend the event?
100, we put up 100 chairs.
In the past, it's been.
People
No, it's
standing
been
mostly,
for
right?
So many years.
Some will come down the
Big
side.
event or a small event?
It's
When
a
you have
block
more than
party, so it
100
doesn't
people.
Fall into the block party doesn't fall into the categories of the other street events. It's a separate category. So you don't qualify this. All right, we have a long agenda, so we should.
Okay.
move on.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so
Okay,
much.
okay, thank you.
Thanks for coming by.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, we are going to move now to our regularly scheduled agenda. We're going to start with item 1, which is the Club World Cup. Have someone here
Gentleman in the back.
representing.
That's a board member.
One of our new board members.
Oh, why don't you sit here?
Yeah, you can't. sit.
Come on, sit next to me. I will
You don't
make.
have to if you're.
Do we have anyone,
Yeah.
Every committee's different that way, so.
do you have anyone representing the Club World Cup? Please raise your hand. We will promote you. No?
Stuart Weissman. Spectrum Live Productions.
No? Okay, we'll move on to the next one. Agenda item 2, row 7 garlic promo.
Thank you.
Hi, Carly. Can you hear us?
Sorry, yep, I'm here now.
Great. Well, welcome. You're here for the row 7, Carly?
Yep.
Okay, great. So yeah, if you could just start by giving us a quick overview of the event, and then we'll open it up to questions from the board and the public, questions, comments from the board and the public after that.
Yep. So we're just basically doing a pop-up activation. So Row 7 is a seed and produce company, and we work with various restaurants in the area to use our produce to incorporate into their menus. And so what we've done is we'll do pop-up activations outside of the restaurant to kind of like, you know, help promote the dish they're using our produce with. So we are going to be outside. We have a small little truck that we set up that has like, you know, some like greenery and some of our produce set up. And then we usually just give out like promotional items like stickers and stuff and just talk about in this case, it's going to be garlic, which is one of our produce items. So we're just going to be kind of talking to people about that are interested in knowing more about it.
Louder.
Yeah, is there a way to turn up the volume? Sorry, give us 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's try that. So you said, okay, so who is the client? It's Garlic.
So we are Row 7. We're going to be partnering with Thai Diner. So we're going to be parking on Mott, on that corner of Mott that they're on, right outside of there with our little truck, and giving out some promotional materials and talking about the produce item and how it's incorporated into Thai Diner's menu. Just kind of bringing awareness to our produce because, you know, it's more widely available now. So we're promoting that as well.
We have a diagram ready.
I'm gonna see if I can pull up the site plan here. And sorry, what is garlic?
It's a cross between, it looks like a leek, but it's kind of a cross between garlic and leek flavor wise. You can use, unlike a leek, you can use the entire thing, the greens and the bottom part of it.
Okay.
Yeah, Thai Diner is going to be putting a item on their menu that uses it. Yep, that's it.
Okay, so it's a truck in front of Thai Diner on Mott,
Yep.
and it's sort of as close to the corner of Kenmare as you can get, leaving room for the crosswalk.
Yeah, so because their entrance is on Mott anyway, so we kind of want to be where like there's any line or where people are going into the restaurant, and it's kind of like it's a small one of those kind of little small Japanese pickup trucks, so it's actually not very big. It's not like a big pickup truck. It's a branded tiny little cute truck.
And what interaction are people having with the truck? They walk up and get something? Is it a giveaway?
The truck's kind of a visual for people because it's branded and it's got cool branding on it. It's got like greenery and then it has like a variety of our produce. So we can kind of like show people different produce that we also offer. But we're going to be focusing on just talking about the garlic because that's the thing that we're promoting at the moment.
So are you giving away like pamphlets that talk about it?
Yeah,
or-
yeah, we'll have like little recipe cards and some stickers and some like we also have like little catalogs that like because we also sell the seeds that grow the produce. So we can give people a catalog that kind of shows them in that regard, like what they can purchase.
Yeah.
Can we close, sorry, but I keep whispering,
Oh.
can we close that?
Yeah, sorry.
So we can see.
And, yeah, go ahead.
Have you done this kind of installation before? I guess like if there isn't really a very sexy giveaway, like what is the traffic? You know, like is there ever a line? How many
Well-
people do you think will stop and talk to you based on previous
Sharing my whole
experience?
screen.
We have done this before. Actually, last year we did one outside of Katz's Deli. But we didn't have to do this board meeting like this, but yeah, I mean sorry, I forget the other part of the question. So we have done it before, and we actually usually partner with people like restaurants that are super busy and that have like lines that form outside for people to be waiting to go in. And that's the thing is like we capture those sort of people at a really popular place that are like waiting to get in there, and then we can talk to them about, you know, our item being on the menu so that hopefully when they go inside, they order that menu item.
And is Thai Diner that kind of establishment? Do they have a line outside usually?
Yes,
Yeah, definitely,
that's my block.
definitely.
Yeah,
Got it. So you don't have to attract,
correct. We kind of like
you are
the
just.
whole thing
there.
is like we sort of invest in, you know, we work with the restaurant and kind of, you know, give them some produce to work with and stuff. And so it like, you know, benefits us to be out there to get those people knowing about us, but then like having, you know, the thing on the menu, then, you know, we kind of cross promote each other.
I see.
Way.
So I think then the concern that the committee would have is like, if there's a line already for the restaurant and then you're across from the restaurant and people are stopping to chat with you, does that actually maintain an open path for folks to walk on the street?
It does. I mean, we've never had a problem with that because usually the restaurant we work with them of like they're usually used to kind of wrangling their line, and you know, it's kind of a difference of like people kind of walk by the tent, may stop for a second, or if we're not getting sort of engagement, sometimes we'll just kind of like talk to people in the line or stuff like that. But I mean, we've done it, when we did it at Cats, it was, I mean, you can imagine Houston is
Yeah.
pretty busy, and we were able to do it. Actually, we weren't on the Houston side. We were on whatever street that was that they were on.
What is the run of show? Like what time are you gonna be there?
We're just doing it from, we're gonna set up a little bit earlier, but the actual, at 10 a.m. we'll have our staff in place and then the event begins and then we do it until 2. And then we just pack up and leave.
From 10 a.m. to 2. Go ahead.
So Pat's typically does have a long line that queues. Thai Diner doesn't. It's usually just an assorted crowd of people milling around on the corner. And so if you don't have security or a brand ambassador directing people to queue, it will just be kind of a mob.
Yeah, we do. We actually, we have a, well, I guess a sort of brand ambassador, but they're also a production assistant, but that's what they're gonna be doing as well.
Is this a no standing anytime zone? So I'm
No.
looking at the sign that's down the block on lot and it says no standing. I don't know how far that goes. You know?
We did get a permit. I don't know if that helps.
I feel like there are cars that get parked there, but I also don't have a car. So.
Okay. It looks on Google Maps, Street View, like it might be a no standing zone. Which would surprise me if SAPO issued a permit for that, but okay.
Yeah, because we already got, I mean, I have the permit paperwork. And we told them exactly where we were gonna be, so I would imagine they wouldn't. I mean, I guess I don't know if they would double check that or not. I don't know how that works.
Yeah. I think I'm just concerned this is gonna be a very congested event. Because I've seen the crowds that gather outside and it's a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's a no standing zone, you're gonna have car congestion there as well. Okay, is there any amplified sound?
Nope.
Or
Which restaurant did they say they were gonna be in?
Thai
Thai
diner?
diner.
Which one?
Thai diner.
Thai diner.
And just so you're aware, we're telling everyone, also just reminding people that there's no advertising allowed on the sidewalk of any kind, like spray paint or stencils, just FYI.
Yeah, no problem. We have an A-frame that we're attaching a poster to. I mean,
Okay.
you can see it on the site plan, but yeah, that's the only thing.
Okay. Anybody else have anything in the room? Otherwise, I'm gonna promote Keith.
No, just encouraging folks to queue down Mott Street.
For sure, yeah, we're used to, I mean, we've done this also, just not in New York, we've done stuff in Philly and some other cities, so we're like pretty good at managing the crowd and stuff like that and kind of knowing the sort of people that show up and how to talk to them, so.
Yeah.
Will anybody be around there from your group to make sure that everything is going smoothly as it's
Oh,
supposed to?
yeah, I'm gonna be there, the other producer's gonna be there, we have a production assistant, we have the chef who owns Row 7, and then we might have another culinary assistant, so we will have people, and then people from Row 7 will be stopping by, but they won't be sort of like in charge of that sort of stuff, they'll just be kind of popping by to see how it's going, but
Okay.
there'll be like 5 of us.
So how many people do you think will be going to table?
We're hoping, you know, when we've done this in the past with like tastings, we kind of, you know, kind of count by the number of tastings we've done, and we've done usually about 300 to 400 tastings. So that's 300 to 400 people over the course of the 4 hours. So maybe 100 people per hour, but depending on how, you know, might flow a little bit, but I mean, that's what we hope for, you know, usually we hope that we're picking the right spots with the people that are interested in us and want to talk, but I also know it might rain a little bit on Saturday, so.
Keith, did you want to speak?
Unmute him.
Yeah, you're on mute.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm looking at Google Street View for Thai Diner. Apparently the roadbed structure on Mott is no longer there, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
It does show a sidewalk cafe on Mott Street, taking up part of the sidewalk. This is as of last September, so I'm not certain that that's still there.
It's not.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I have photos of,
And there is the structure built on the sidewalk on Kenmare Street that is not supposed to be there. Is that still there?
Yes, but I'm almost positive that's part of their building lot and is not like an illegal.
No, that's not. Or there. Anyway, I think attention needs to be paid to the overbuilt nature of this enterprise. And whatever. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, I don't see any other hands raised. Any other questions in the room? No? Okay, thank you very much.
Is that all I need to do or?
That's it. Thank you.
You're good. Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right, so we're now going to go to agenda item 3. This is the Dirty Cars Black Coffee. Please raise your hand if you're here for that event. Voting?
Hello, hello.
Hi, welcome.
Hi, how's everyone doing?
Here,
Good, thank you.
so yeah, please go ahead and give us an overview. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, everyone. My name's John. I work with the brand Buck Mason. We're based in Los Angeles, but we have, 6 stores in the, Manhattan and Brooklyn neighborhoods. We're looking to do an event that we've done a few times in Los Angeles and in Nashville called Dirty Cars Black Coffee. Essentially for this specific one, we're looking to have 3 vintage cars parked on the south side of Broome Street and 3 vintage cars parked on the east side of Broadway, kind of right on that corner of Broome and Broadway, because we have a new store opening on the 19th. So kind of to celebrate the opening of that store, we wanted to park these 6 cars outside of the store and invite some people to come in for some free coffee around 8 in the morning. And that's pretty much it. There's, just the cars parked outside, bringing people to the store. That's kind of the whole event. It would go I think on the permit I put like cars loading in at 7 in the morning, people, starting to kind of trickle in around 8. Cars would probably leave by like 12 p.m.
Okay, so the coffee itself, the coffee activation is happening inside the store.
Yep, we have a coffee shop that'll be in there. And the coffee that's part of the event, obviously there's coffee for sale because the coffee shop will be open, but for the event purposes, we're just giving free coffee away.
Okay, but that's inside, you're not going to be blocking the sidewalk to do that? Okay.
No, I mean, there might because, some of these cars are going to be very nice, very old cars. Might be some people who kind of pop outside to take some pictures and this and that. But the event really is more bringing people into the store. Like I said, we've done this in Nashville and in Los Angeles, and it always ends up with people just kind of coming inside, seeing the product, seeing the new store, getting free coffee, chatting, and that's it.
Is there any amplified sound that's going to be played outside?
Nope.
Are you going to have staff and or security stationed outside around the cars?
I would be outside and our area manager as well, in case, people are kind of, hanging out or whatever, would be moving people inside, but no hired security or anything. It's an older demographic, like 30s to 50s, not really that kind of like a hype clothing brand or anything that would kind of, create those big moments. So more people my age and older, who are just coming to have some free coffee and talk about old cars.
Is this by invitation, like who's coming, or?
Yep. Yeah,
not-
I have like a little invite. No, yeah, it's not. It's like you might send an email to like our top customers in the New York area, like the top spenders, and then it's me inviting people who are friends of the brand, fashion influencers, some coffee people, who would be interested in the new coffee shop that's opening, just stuff like that.
Would there be any reason that a line would form outside to get in?
No.
What's the address of the new store?
It's where Madewell used to be. Let me see. Broome and Broadway.
I didn't realize they shut down.
It's like 496 or 486. Let me see. 486 Broadway.
And so again, which curb lanes, remind me, it's where what store used to be?
Where Madewell used to be. So 486 Broadway. So we're looking for the south side of Broome and the east side of Broadway. So like those 6 cars, like if you were on the diagonal, you would see those 6 cars kind of like hugging the corner there.
You said you've done this in other cities, but not in New York?
No, not in New York yet. Yeah, because we haven't, we have a shop in Williamsburg, and also I've only been with the company for about a year and a half, and I don't think they ever tried. But they've done it quite a bit in Los Angeles at different locations and at our Nashville store as well.
Would you be interested in doing it in Williamsburg instead of in New York? Try it out.
Not this time. Our Williamsburg store is very, very small, but if we open a bigger Williamsburg store, that would be a lot of fun to do it there. This is like the biggest store we've opened. It's a huge moment for the brand. Everyone's very excited. So hope to like kind of represent that a bit with a couple of old Porsche 911s.
Has the store been there?
Sorry?
How long has the
This is
store?
for the opening.
It's just opening now.
Yeah, it opens next Saturday.
Next Saturday. Excellent.
Yep.
Well, good luck with that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm hoping, I'll be honest, right now I'm kind of in the middle, talking with the SAPO coordinator, but it sounds like everything that I just told you guys and how I've understood this is that this is a small street event, and he seems to feel differently about that. And if he tells me that the permit is for a medium street event, I'm not going to be able to afford that, and I'm going to have to cancel the whole event. So hoping to get clarity from him.
It might be because you're asking for 2 curb lanes instead of a single curb lane.
So the funny thing is I already talked to him about that. So I know that it's the 2 curb lanes. When we originally spoke, he said that would still be a small event, just double the price. It'd be like the price of 2 of them.
Yeah.
Which is totally fine. Like that, I think it was like 6,200. Like that fits my budget. But if he tells me it's 2 medium-sized events, that goes to 22,000. So I just
Okay.
So
Pete?
hopefully, I don't know. That's the event. If he tells me differently, I'll have to cancel it.
Yeah.
Does it need to be 3 cars on both sides? Like, could it be 2 cars on both sides?
Well, 3 is what he told me the limit is, and he said that would fit in the small event. I think I'm thinking like impact-wise, visually, the 3, is pretty important. I wouldn't want to do less than that.
Who are you talking
Keep in
to?
mind also, it's obviously like things are. Sorry.
Who are you talking to at SAPO?
Christopher Laurent.
Chris
I don't know if
Laurent?
I'm pronouncing
Chris
his last
Laurent?
name.
Yeah.
Yeah, Laurent. Yeah.
I haven't heard the limit on number of cars before. So
You've never heard the limit on? Okay.
Well,
yeah.
I don't think we've had anyone ever
it,
six cars. So maybe that's
told me
a bit high.
He told me three per curb lane is the limit.
Yeah.
People have done events with 1 and it seems to
And
meet
2.
their needs. So, I mean, I think if I were you, I would consider 2 before canceling altogether, but it's obviously your call.
Yeah, if he lets you drop it down to keep it as a small event.
Yeah, I'll have to figure it out because the other events that we've done in Los Angeles and Nashville, there's been 60 cars that have shown up, and so it's a hard sell to my CEOs to say it's just going to be 2, but I'll do my best.
What cars are they?
Sorry?
What kind of cars are they?
Vintage.
Like vintage, I'm looking at a couple Porsche 911s right now, a vintage Range Rover, Mercedes SL. Yeah.
And are they going to be like wrapped with the brand or no?
No,
They're just parked
no.
there?
The dirtier, the better.
Okay.
Just for our information, what does Los Angeles charge for these kinds of events?
Way less.
They don't because we have a parking lot and people just pulled up their cars and they didn't charge anything.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
But we do have the bulk of it. We had a very big parking lot in the back of our store right in Hollywood. So that's kind of like, that was where the bulk of it. Unfortunately, no said parking lot this time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate it.
Pete had his hand raised. Pete, go ahead.
Yeah, is this my turn?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes.
Great. Hi, John. I'm Hades for Broadway Residents Coalition. And I just want to clarify because there's some discrepancy between what we're hearing and what written statement, which shows the hours going till 4 p.m. on Saturday.
Yeah, that was the original idea, but realistically, nobody's going to keep their cars past 12 p.m. So I was trying to talk with Chris about changing the hours.
Okay. And I'm not sure how familiar you are with the neighborhood, but if you're putting it on social media as a freebie, whenever it is, folks are.
We were thinking about that, but yeah.
Okay, I just think the community.
Yeah, we were. Oh, sorry.
Area and some plan for if a lot of people show up that you are able to deal with that, because we get stuff where people line up and around a snake around the blocks. So
100%.
it's just something. And then for attendance, you indicate that that's just an unknown and that will depend on how many people show up based on the number of cars and this, that, and the other. So I'm just concerned as a resident of this area that there's not attention being paid to the possibility, the likelihood that a lot of people will turn out. So
sure,
throw that out there.
Honestly, absolutely. No, I appreciate you bringing that up. I think, and I know that it happens in different cities, but given how these events have gone in the past, it's always less people than we hope for better or for worse. I think especially only with 6 cars being out there on the block, it's going to draw less of an interest from our community. And I know also as we kind of look at our plans for how we promote this and whatnot, I don't think this is something that we're going to be posting like, on our Instagram, like out to just the general public. It's going to be something that's all like direct invites to people that are friends of the brand, kind of curbing that. That being said, if more people do show up than expected, I don't know the exact square footage of the store, but we have the street level floor and the top floor. So we have a ton of space inside the store, which is where people are really going to be directed to kind of seeing the new store location, hanging out, having coffee, and then leaving.
I do think it's a good idea, to Pete's point, that, you should have rope and stanchion or something ready to go in case a line does form.
Okay, yeah, I can absolutely have that ready to pull out, but if needed.
Yeah, because you can't just have a mob outside the store.
Oh, totally, and we've never have. It's like I said, it's not that kind of brand, it's not that kind of audience that we cater to, but I can absolutely have that ready to go.
It's not so much a rowdy crowd that we're worried about, it's just numbers. Yep. And
sure.
I'm hoping that you're aware that this building has residential units upstairs. They have buildings on either side. They're all residential above the retail.
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pete.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Next, we're going to go to July 19th. The Woobles sponsor Good Kids for 8th between 5th and 6th. Promoting you, Steve. Steve, can you hear us? Oh, there you are.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good.
How are you?
Welcome.
It's been an interesting thing to hear this all develop. It's my first panel. Well, I got to sit on here for this, so I'm very excited to be here.
We're excited to have you. So go ahead, give us an overview, please, of your event.
100,000, 5,000.
This is going to be the most mild-mannered request I think you'll get all year. We're putting together an event. It's a private party, actually, or not party. It's a private function for a brand of crafting called Woobles. It's very similar to crochet or knitting, and they're doing a private function for their customer base that they've rented out the Ideal Glass Gallery. We have been instructed to be compliant with New York City because we are putting a branded panel van in front of it. Now, this is strictly for visual presence to support the invite-only crafting event, to serve as like a beacon, like, hey, this is the right spot. It is not to be any retail outlet or sampling station. There's no point of sale taking place in that. And there's going to be no amplified sound coming from the van or merchandise or food or flyers or anything for that matter. It is strictly a physical marker.
Give an image.
Okay.
I do not have an image of the van, but it is like your standard panel van, like a Sprinter, and it has a vehicle wrap around it, and it says the Woobles.
So I guess the estimate in the application of 1,000 to 5,000 attendees is not correct.
That is definitely incorrect. It is 1,500 that are expected throughout the course of a 11 or a 10-hour day.
Oh, it is 1,000 to 5,000. Okay.
No, it's not 5,000. It's 1,500. We are doing it in small batches of 150 at a time, spaced out in even increments. The venue itself has a huge capacity, and we are allocating an interior measurement of 1/3 of it to handle all queuing. All people who have been invited to this event have been instructed to arrive within half an hour of their time slot, no earlier, or they'll be turned away. So we are going to manage all event flow in that capacity. So it is completely timed. People are coming, they're entering, they're crafting, they're hanging out with the founders, and when their crafting slot is ended, then they are leaving.
You said they were queuing indoors?
Yeah, we've allocated a full third of the venue for indoor queuing with stanchions, and we have ample stanchions should the need be to direct any kind of outdoor traffic, but we are not expecting that. Again, it's 150 people at a time, and the venue holds, I think, 500.
I know this venue, it's big.
Cool.
So there's going to be zero queue outside is what you're saying?
Yeah, it's pretty expensive permit for having a vehicle wrap.
Yeah. So what if for some reason a crowd or queue happens to gather outside? What is your approach?
Great question. We have security detail. I think New York law is 1 for 100. We have a security for every 50 people plus an on-site medic. If anything happens, we want to make sure that everybody's protected. Safety is a priority. We have security as a doorman to stop any kind of curiosity of people that are walking by. Hey, what's going on? Can I check it out? I'm afraid it's a private event. We have a full manifest of all the people who are attending. So they have to have a QR code that has been sent to them. Their names are also allocated as a list. So if your name's not on the list, you're not coming in. And it's pretty well regimented. I've been running events for over 20 years. We make sure that everybody feels safe, secure, and we don't let any stragglers in.
I think the concern we would have is that if you need a QR code and registration to get into the doors, then it's not unlikely that there might be a bunch of people waiting to have their QR code reviewed, or that a line might form outside.
You would think that the difference in that is that we've allocated a full third of the interior space for that. So how we have it set up is like they come in and they go through and they come to a front desk where all the QR and the validation takes.
Right.
If someone comes in and they say, hey, I just wanted to check it out, we say, sorry, friend, it's a private event. And we have security show them the door.
Great. If they can get through the doors fast and then do the review inside, that sounds good.
Yeah.
And you said it's 11 hours. What hours are those?
The doors open, I believe, at 8, and the last showing of it ends at 8:30, and then we're doing loadout the same night.
Okay.
Is there a cost? I'm sorry if I missed it. Did you say, does it cost anything to attend?
I cannot speak to that. It is done through the client, the Woobles. They've sent this exclusive to their fan base. We're the production company that's putting the whole thing together, but it is not available to the public.
Okay.
They should know that, no?
Yeah, it's a private event inside. Yeah,
But whether the people pay to attend is
we don't.
not our concern. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, great. Any other questions?
I
No.
don't think so.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Have a good night.
All right, so next we have July 22nd to 29th, Worcester event, sponsor Marty Barnes. Marty on, or someone from Marty's team?
From Worcester, from Woobles to Worcester.
Promoting.
William Butler.
Do you hear me?
Yes, welcome.
Oh,
How we doing, guys? Artie here from Artie Barnes.
We're doing well. How are you?
Very good.
So please go ahead. Yeah, can you tell us about the event?
Well, I've been hired to do the loading for this. It's a Gracie Abrams poetry bar book exchange. The exact location, I didn't know it before, but it's 152 Worcester Street. We were having problems with this permit, getting this permit for the loading because there appears to be a movie shoot on the block. So I'm up in the air on what days I'm going to be able to do this loading. But I know the event from what I heard is the 25th to the 27th. It's a Gracie Abrams pop-up inside 152 Worcester Street. And they have a few items going on inside. They got a photo booth, but everything's inside a photo booth, an artwork display, a poetry bar, a book exchange. The hours are 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. on the 25th, 26th, and 27th. But everything is inside, and I'm just trying to see whether I'm going to get this permit from SAPO because of the movie that's going on that block.
So sorry, what store is it again? What pop-up?
It's Gracie Abrams.
Musician.
It's Gracie Abrams.
Tony nominee, Gracie Abrams.
She's a pretty popular artist, and
Sex Lives of College Bros. Just in time.
I never heard of it.
I'm not cultured.
Me
Okay.
either, but I'm only telling you what I see. So
Okay, so it's a pop-up inside 152. So this permit is
It's
for
just for loading.
load-in. Is
just
there
loading.
a separate permit that's been requested through the queue line?
No, they don't expect to have any queue line, and I know they were really concerned about that because for 3 days they were if they line people up outside. I know they got security. They've got a couple of security people there, to help out. So if there's any line, they'll line them up outside. They spoke to the precinct, to have some barriers there if they need them.
Wait, so why are they not expecting a queue line?
They don't think it's going to be that big because they just don't think it's going to be that big.
Isn't this a famous?
What's happening inside?
Inside, it's a poetry bar where they're going to read poetry. They're going to have a book exchange.
Oh, it's just
A
not.
photo booth. There's going to be no talent on site.
I'm confused though. So it's associated.
I don't know what he's doing.
It's a pop-up that's associated with the famous musician,
Yes.
but
Yes.
there's a line? That doesn't make sense to me.
But
Well, there
it's-
may be a
but
line.
it's
I
not
don't
gonna
know.
be
They don't
there,
know.
right?
They don't know whether there may be a line, but they got security there in case there is.
I think for any pop-up like this, we would typically ask for a separate permit for a queue line, as many other pop-ups are now doing when they apply.
Yeah, but I think what's prohibiting them is the cost of the rope and stanchions. So I think if they do, they're going to make sure this if there's a line that no other entrances are blocked and people are just standing on the sidewalk.
All right. I don't think I could get behind approving something that didn't do that, because this seems like a major pop-up and you can't just wing it when it comes to the line.
Okay, so why do they allow these buildings to do this? You know, to allow this, you know, and then to say that now, you know, like, I don't know, I'm not, all I'm doing is loading it in, you know, the curb lanes are loaded in, which I don't even know whether we're gonna get the permit for it now anyway, because of the film, there's a mom permit that's in there, so we may not get the permit anyway, so this will make it null and void anyway to even have to worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think to answer your question, why do they, I mean, we asked the same question and kind of have the same issue, is they allow buildings to do big pop-ups and they almost always spill out into the street in form of crowd and line. And then more and more of them are actually now applying for permits, which is what we want for the line, but some still aren't doing it. And typically when that happens, we have many examples in the past year plus where it causes a big issue because, you know, people aren't prepared and then there's a massive line that's out of control. So that's what we're trying to prevent.
So I think that's why they asked for barriers from the precinct for it, so. Because rope and stanchions, I think with rope and stanchions, they want to charge them probably about $11,000 to $12,000 for rope and stanchions, so that's why they don't want to file for it, I would imagine. I'm just guessing, that's a guess on my part, so.
I can't.
That's the cost.
A couple of weeks ago, they were $300, you know, for rope and stanchions. Now they're like $3,500 or something, so.
He can't answer the
So-
question.
I don't
Often
think,
is Tracy Abrams going to be performing? Did we say that?
I don't think she's
No,
gonna,
she's not there. She's not there. Her books are gonna be there. The poetry readings will be there. There's no talent there at all.
okay.
Maybe people won't come, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think, I mean, okay.
You know, what happens is they go to these stores to do these pop-ups, and the buildings rent them the space. They take their money, you know, and they ask them, what do we need to do anything here? And they tell them, no, you're all good. You're all good.
You've touched on exactly a major issue that we have to deal with all the time and are trying to figure out better ways to deal with. So I think we agree with you there that that's a big issue.
You know, when, you know, I know they spoke to the precinct, I think Detective,
All right, I think we've got as much as we can. Pete, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I believe that the sponsor is somebody who has a lot of experience in the city with other events. And to designate this as a production event when we know what goes on, it just seems incorrect.
no, but there's nothing on the street. There's nothing on the sidewalk. There's no sound on the sidewalk. There's no advertisement on the sidewalk. The only thing that's the street is using trucks to drop equipment off that's going inside the store.
Yeah,
So
but
there's
there should
nothing
be a
going on
separate,
outside. How would the city charge for something inside going on inside?
no, but there should be a separate event for the line is what we're saying is pop-up, you know, SAPO asks when there's likely to be a big line or any kind of line from a pop-up. SAPO wants people filing a separate partial sidewalk because you have to partially close the sidewalk for the line. I think that's what we're saying and that's what Pete's saying.
But people, they're not allowed to stand on the sidewalk. That's what I'm hearing from them. They're not allowed to stand on the sidewalk. You can't, like the halal cart on 6th Avenue, 54th Street has a line halfway down the block every single day. You know, there's, you know, all these other places. Yankee Stadium has a line going down the sidewalk, 161st Street. You know, like which can you line up is where you don't need a permit and you do need a permit. That's what these people are and I know it's very frustrating for you guys, you know, that are trying to control this. But you know what I mean? Like, is it okay for Radio City Music Hall to have a line down the block waiting to get 6,000 people in?
Yeah, I think SAPO is differentiating between pop-ups versus permanent establishments. So
you don't need it. So a permanent establishment doesn't need to have a permit to put a line on the sidewalk, but a pop-up does.
I'm just telling
We
you
don't make the rules.
what SAPO's been
Yeah, I
asking
know,
people to do.
but it's frustrating. It's frustrating for people to look at stuff like that and say that, you know, like they're saying like you can't stand on the sidewalk. to go
All right.
install.
No, we hear you, but I don't think this is the place to debate that rule, but.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry. It's just, all I want to do is unload my trucks into the place. And if Moam is able to get something out of that,
All right.
get something out of that,
Just like
to
the
make
crazy
that
lines.
work.
All right.
I apologize for going.
Don't apologize.
No, it's okay. I mean,
Your application is fine. It's just, it needs
there
to
should
be in
another
concert
one.
with another one.
Yeah. All right. I think we've gotten as far as we can go on this one. So.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate you
Thanks, have a
showing up.
nice
Thank
day.
you. All right, we're going to move to the next one, which is July 22nd, EOS Gansevoort Plaza. Aubrey? Hi, Aubrey. Oh, one more.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. Long time no see.
Yeah. I feel like I'm a monthly panelist now. Lovely. Anyway, thank you so much for having me. Hopefully this will be a little bit easy of a presentation and quite quick. So let me go ahead and pull up my little thing. Okay, everybody can see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so we're doing a pop-up for EOS. It is a body lotion. They are launching their new pistachio scent or flavor. I don't know what to call it. their new product. So this will take place on July 22nd. It's a Tuesday. It will be on Gansevoort Plaza, which is on Gansevoort and 9th Avenue over in Meatpacking. Sorry about this. All right, quick overview of it. So like I mentioned, Tuesday, the 22nd, EOS will host the consumer activation on Gansevoort Plaza. They will actually be doing like a little bit of an interactive. They actually will have a very unique piece that will be an ice cube sculpture with some of the product inside the ice. To kind of get people to come and check it out. And they will also receive a 16 bottle of the pistachio body lotion if they scan a QR code and they put in their information. They are also going to give out Pop Bar Popsicles, which is local to New York City. And that'll be part of it. So you don't have to sign up to get a popsicle or to be part of the activation, but to get a bottle of the pistachio body lotion, you do have to scan the QR code and do the thing. So the activation will be taking place from 11 to 3 on that day. So only a few hours. Quick about the production schedule. So they're only the one day. They'll start at 6 a.m. in the morning, start to load things into the plaza. Security will arrive, brand ambassadors will arrive, the Pop Bar ice cream vendor, well, it says ice cream, but it's actually popsicles, will arrive, and then everything will be put into place, rope stanchion, the site will be set up, and there is a site plan on the next page. And then trash cans will be put around as well. Like I mentioned, the activation will start at 11 a.m. and then we'll end at 3, and then the reverse will happen after 3 p.m. Everything will load out, be taken off the plaza, and everybody goes about their day. Okay, so little bitty site plan here. Sorry, it's a little cartoony, but it looks amazing. So there will be stanchions that will actually enclose the activation itself. There will be a limited number inside that space just so it doesn't get too crowded, and there won't be there will be a way to kind of control the line. There will be security staff surrounding the area so they can help with the line queue and also letting people in to enjoy the experience and then go about their merry way. So that is kind of what the setup will look like on the plaza, the rope and stanchion, and we'll also kind of keep people enclosed to keep people off of the walking sideway that's on the north side of the plaza, and then we'll also keep people out of the roadway on the south side out of Gansevoort.
Are people going to queue to get into the event?
Yes, there's a little red queue right here that's on the plaza. So.
That looks quite small relative to how attractive this event might be. How are you expecting? What's your expectation for the number of attendees and kind of how you'll deal with maybe a crowd that forms wanting to come in?
Right, so there will be 5 security guards. There will be 5 security guards, 2 at the entryway, 1 security guard that will be walking the line to make sure that there is a little bit of distance to keep the walkway cleared. And then there will also be interior, there will be 1 person walking around in the interior and then a medic. And on top of that, for the staffing, there's actually 10 brand ambassadors that will also be around to help kind of guide the line, make sure it doesn't get too large. And then people are also moving in and out of the experience in a relatively swift manner so everybody can experience it, and then they go about their merry way.
How long are people gonna like spend inside of the?
I mean, probably only a few minutes. It's not really, there's not like a ton to do. You get like you take a picture with the ice sculpture, you do your QR scan to get like a sample of the product itself. You get a popsicle, and then that's pretty much it. There isn't like anything else going on. You know, there isn't any celebrities or anything like that will be there. It's just literally like you go in, you see the ice sculpture, you get to hang out for a minute, and then you're out of the experience and, you know, off to do other things.
Is this being marketed broadly, or is the expectation just that people will stumble on it?
So it is marketed. They are going to put it on their channels that they will be there to promote their new pistachio body lotion.
I mean, I think what you guys have done in the past on the line is you can kind of corkscrew the line, right?
We do. We snake it, and then we cut it off and let people know that they need to come back at a different time. But once it starts to flow, it actually goes quite quickly. People are not going to necessarily, there's not a lot to give out. And once you get your product, you're kind of asked to like, you know, mosey on out of the space anyway. So it's not like there's nothing to hang out for. So it's like you get your free body lotion if you want to like QR code it and sign up for it. And then that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Have you done the ice sculpture before? It sounds very cool, but also is there like water cooling an issue?
They actually do have a pan that's built underneath the ice sculpture to kind of collect the water. So there won't be any water that's like dripping onto the actual plaza itself. It won't be out there long enough to completely melt it away completely. And then that's why the activation is only the 4 hours, and then it'll be taken away, the melty ice and the ice sculpture itself to be taken apart completely and disposed of.
Cool.
Yeah, they don't want to puddle on the plaza, so they're like collecting all the water and making sure that, you know, there isn't any like puddles or any issues with like water being, you know, trampled around or anything.
For sure.
The setup time is 12 a.m.
6 a.m.
6 a.m.
Yeah. And then in addition to the staff and security, there is actually going to be 8 push lid trash cans placed around the plaza as well. Staff itself will actually do a sweep as much as they can to make sure there isn't any litter or anything left along the plaza itself. There will be a sweep before the event starts and also a sweep after. And there will also be trash pickup times that at 1 p.m. during the day and then also 4:30 p.m. as well. Trash cans will be set there for the duration of the activation and then taken away as the activation is taken away as well.
Great.
Trash pickup throughout the day.
Yes.
See that with many events. Can you talk amplified sound? I see that there were speakers on the diagram.
Yes, there is going to be amplified sound from 11 to 3. And it won't be any, it's ambient music. It's not going to be like a, you know, a dance hall DJ or anything like that. It literally is just music to kind of draw people in, be part of the experience. You're not really supposed to hear it outside of the plaza itself. And again, it's only from 11 to 3.
Are you using a generator or no?
There is a generator that will actually be on the Gansevoort. Hold on. Do you see this little purple box or purple rectangle? Yep, the generator will sit there. And the generator is also only running to amplify the sound and provide power to the speakers itself from 11 to 3.
Good on mine.
Thank you.
Okay. No more questions?
All good.
No,
We're good.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great night.
you too.
Okay.
Okay, next we have Reset Capsule, July 24th on the Astor Place Plaza. We have someone from Reset Capsule. That's not you, other Aubrey, is it?
Nope, I'm transportation alternatives. Thanks.
Oh, okay. Okay, I don't see anyone from Reset. Anyone from World of Good Brands? Do we see a Lizanne Catalina? No. Okay, so that's a no-show. I guess that's a no-show. Was anyone able to join from Wet Brush? That was, there was a bit of a miscommunication there with them.
Number 8.
The Wet Brush, so we weren't sure if they were able to join. Okay. Let's go to the next one. This is the Denim Tears Hot 97 Block Party, July 26th. Promoting you. Donnie, you should be able to speak.
And I think I'm muted. Hi, everyone.
Hi, welcome.
Hi.
Hello, good evening. I think I have one other person at least on my end joining, Erica.
I think they can speak as well.
Okay, sorry, I'm not too sure how setup works. But I will get us started and then I think Erica will jump in.
I see a second person under Shawnee. Is that you, Erica? Do you want to unmute yourself? You're on mute.
Thank you. So I'll let Shawnee start out. I'm Erica. I'm an event producer here supporting their team in this endeavor. And I think we also have Selena from the mayor's office potentially coming on to also assist.
Yeah. So
and Shawnee, you're from Denim Tears, and Erica, you're from a production company, or?
Yes.
Which one?
NYC Event Pro.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
So yeah, jumping right into it. I am the internal creative producer at Denim Tears. We have our store, 176 Spring Street, and offices right around the corner on West Broadway. Erica, as she mentioned, is an event producer, sort of helping us put this all together. And then we have Selena and also Dawn from the mayor's office. They're both the exec director and associate director of the events and street permitting division. So at one point they might hop in, but yeah, the event that we have planned is in collaboration with New York's most beloved radio station, Hot 97. The plan is to throw a 2-block block party from Spring between West Broadway all the way to Sullivan Street. So those 2 blocks. 1 block, so Spring between West Broadway and Thompson, dedicated to music and live entertainment throughout the entirety of the day. And then the 2nd block, Spring Street between Thompson and Sullivan, dedicated to food vendors and nonprofit informational activations. The event will be July 26th from 1 p.m. until 10 p.m. And yeah, it's basically just going to be a community-driven event. I think if anyone's familiar, we also applied for a single block festival permit. So the core of the event is us essentially being sponsored by a nonprofit and all food vendor participation. So all fees for them to basically vend at the event will go towards the nonprofit of our choosing. And a lot of what's happening that day is going to be centered around that. And of course, you know, our store, Denim Tears, and just having a day full of all ages fun.
Okay. Sorry, do you have like a diagram or a presentation as to, because this seems like a pretty involved event?
Yes, it is. Did you receive the site diagram, the site plan showing the breakdown?
Yeah, here I can. It seems it's a bit busy. I can
I'll
share
pull it up because we also made some slight adjustments.
Okay.
Today, so let me share my screen.
You said this is, sorry, you said this is 2 blocks?
Correct.
I thought there was an embargo on multi-block events?
That hasn't been told to us. We submitted a block party permit for spring between West Broadway and Thompson, and then a single block festival permit to do the food vending for spring between Thompson and Sullivan.
Thanks. So it's two permits, but it's effectively one contiguous event.
Correct.
Yes, SAPO and the mayor's office has them filing for quite a few permits that they have all of them already in process.
So, okay, I only saw the one.
Which one are you seeing on your end? Just the SAPO one?
I'm seeing street event large, spring between West Broadway and Thompson.
Got it. Okay, well, we also have the single block festival permit out. So if anything, we can follow back up and provide that information, but you should be able to see both.
They'll also obviously be obtaining the sound permit, which they've already made a connection with the community affairs, and then an open flame permit as well for the vendors.
So you're saying, sorry, what is the separate the separate single block festival is for which block?
Is for spring between Thompson and Sullivan. And we were advised to do it that way because that permit will allow us to have food vendors.
Well, and it also seems like a workaround of the embargo on multi-block.
Under the advisement of the mayor's office.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of an embargo.
We weren't aware of a workaround, but that's how they've advised Denim Tears at this point to file for everything. So I've been advising with them, and the mayor's office has really done a great job guiding them through it. And I know that Selena's here in the comments, so she's also available to answer any questions.
Great.
I'll ask you the same question I asked one of the other presenters. What protections will you have in place for the attendees in terms of preventing cars and crazy trucks from going into the event?
According to working with the licensed security that they have and the NYPD, they were planning on doing the large barricades, having multiple layers of barricades and at least a minimum of 20 security or more, depending on what the final advisement is on the space that they're given access to.
Talking about security, just people being security guards?
No, licensed security, licensed and insured security with the state.
Okay, but licensed
They'll
people
also
doing security, but no trucks or anything to prevent what I was just describing before. Trucks going into and getting and just crashing into the barricades to prevent people to allow them to go through the streets.
That's not something that was considered, but a big part of today is really to get your feedback on what's the best way for them to move forward. I mean, there's no issue, I think, in considering that. It's just as far as kind of, that's maybe more of a new consideration, but it's a good consideration. I'm sure, Shawnee, you would agree.
Right.
I mean, we can go through the event. I'm just very concerned about setting a precedent for on a Saturday, middle of the day, essentially what's a multi-block festival in the heart of Soho. I don't think we've seen any events like this or approved any events like this that I can remember. It's going to be extremely disruptive, I think.
Right. I just want to just highlight Selena again from the mayor's office, her comment in the chat. She said, additionally, due to the scope of the event, SAPO will be hosting a walkthrough with the NYPD, DOH, FDNY, and other agencies, and can include the community board as well. And then I see here, Adam asked if Denim Tears is a nonprofit. We aren't, but for the single block festival permit, they require that you be sponsored by a nonprofit who is obviously a 501c3. So that's how we were able to apply for that.
And then also their AV and security team vendors have a lot of experience in the area. Their AV team has done Tribeca Film Festival, just reading off the list here, World Trade Center Memorial, Madison Square Park events, Washington Square Park events, and Hudson Yards events. And everyone's really standing by for your feedback on how you like us best to conduct this, taking that and then finalizing all of our plans.
How are you, what's happening on Thompson? Is it Thompson's the midsection street?
Yeah.
That's not going to be closed to traffic, right? So folks need to crosswalk to get in between the two blocks?
Yeah, I mean, no, ideally we would have full street closures for both of those two blocks. So again, spring between West Broadway through Sullivan. And are you talking about just cars being able to go across?
Yeah, north south from Thompson.
Yeah, I mean, in an ideal world, the street would be completely closed off. I'm not sure what would come with that because obviously that would require like a reroute.
I mean, the single block festival is nonprofit, but I mean, it's not really because it's directly adjacent to this commercial event and it's driving people into the store. So it's still a commercial event that.
What's the nonprofit that's sponsoring it?
We're working with two nonprofits right now and trying to decide on like a final sponsor, but we have one called Guns for Grants and then the other one is the Moses West Foundation. Can follow up with the final sponsor. They're both basically kind of like the same contact. But we should know on that by like end of this week.
Okay. Just the scope of this just kind of goes beyond almost anything I've ever seen come before us because we've never seen it's essentially new multi-block events because SAPO specifically embargoed those. And this just seems a little bit like a workaround.
Loophole.
That's not in any way our intention. We've just been working directly with the mayor's office as to what is the best way to host this and to be able to feature as many local vendors as possible. Ultimately, the Soho retail tenant would like to highlight all of these nonprofits and local vendors within this environment. So the party is not necessarily to drive traffic into their small storefront, but more to share the local businesses that are right there, partnering with everyone in the area as well as outside vendors, but still New York City based vendors.
Yeah, I mean, in addition to that, obviously just to have a fun, again, all ages cultural summer event. And as far as driving traffic to our store, to sort of echo Erica's point, that's really not the intention. If anything, our store will be pretty closed off that day and would serve as more of like a VIP section. And the majority of the attendees would be, within those two blocks.
So can you just walk us through what's actually happening on the two blocks? Like what are the different?
Sure. So as mentioned, spring between Thompson and West Broadway would sort of serve as like the live entertainment and music block mainly because our storefront is there. So we'll have the DJ set up in front of the store and we'll also have a live radio component via Hot 97 for 2 hours that day, also stationed in front of the store. So this is where people can like see DJs playing live. At the end of the night, we were also planning on having like a performance or two. So this will be where I would assume the majority of people would be stationed throughout the day, but they obviously are welcome to go to the following block. So you'll see down here our store in the middle with the VIP section in front. Obviously, we have the street with all of these yellow dots signifying security guards stationed throughout the block. Over here on the upper right-hand side, you'll see an area for restrooms or porta potties that we were planning on getting. And then going to the second block, which is spring between Thompson and Sullivan, this is where we would have our food vendors station, and I'll just zoom in here. So 3 on each side, a variety of different POC-owned food vendors that are local. Again, 3 on one side, 3 on the other. And then over here, we were just signifying a little area for just summertime activities, double dutch and or chess. And then again, areas for people to either just stand around, enjoy their food, or to just walk through with, again, those yellow security signifiers throughout. Hopefully allowing for enough space for businesses. We weren't intending for anyone to close that day. So like sidewalks open, people still having the ability to go into businesses if they so choose. And then there should still be ample room for people to move around. And then we also applied for a parks permit, which is still in the works, but ideally we would have access to the park as well. Obviously just an area for people to go to, but also to serve as a sort of like a kid zone because there's a really sizable playground. And this is an
Spring Street Park, yeah, okay.
What about the music? Tell us a little bit about the music that's going to be happening and how are you going to ensure that the quality of life of the residents in the area are not negatively impacted because of the music?
Yeah, when you say that, are you referring to like the amps or the type of music?
Everything.
Right. I mean, I can't really speak to what types of music people will or will not enjoy. There's going to be a variety of music playing throughout the day. It'll be like a 9-ish hour event. Um, as far as amps, that I think we're waiting on feedback from the NYPD on, if I'm not mistaken. Erica, please correct me if I'm wrong. To
Yeah,
just advise on, yeah, decibel limit and things like that. Whatever they advise is what we'll follow. Um,
in conjunction with their AV vendor, which is All Access Audio, which is an international audio company that's done a lot of different installations indoor and outdoor in public spaces. So the whole idea here is for them to only do what's compliant. So we wouldn't necessarily know exactly how that's going to be best because that's going to be the audio team really working with the precinct and with any feedback that you have for them as well.
Why
Have you notified the community about this event? Have you notified the community members, the people who live there and the businesses that are there? Have you notified them that you're going to have this 2-block event?
Yeah, we're in the process of speaking to neighbors at the moment. I definitely wanted to talk to the community board first, really like solidify things. But yeah, we've talked to a few neighbors, and that's definitely high on the priority list to make sure that everyone's aware.
Is there any reason?
When you say, excuse me, when you say a few, what do you mean? How many is a few? It's a very, how do you define a few?
Yeah, we've talked to a few of the businesses on both blocks that we wanted to like be directly involved in the event. But as far as like providing detailed information around like what exactly is gonna happen that day, we haven't done that yet. But again, it's on the list. We wouldn't move forward without letting people know.
Is there any reason you couldn't just do this all on one block? Like why, I don't see why it needs to be 2 blocks.
Well, due to the amount of attendees that we're expecting, it would be best if we had 2 blocks. I think that's why we decided to move forward with 1 block specifically for food and activities and the other block for, you know, the live music and entertainment portion. It would just be best to have enough room to allow for, you know, proper flow throughout the day.
How about what we have suggested to other applicants is that you have codes for people to come in at separate times so that everybody doesn't go at the same time. And maybe you can have just a 1 block, as William just suggested.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll make note of that. I mean, do you guys have any other feedback?
Also, regardless, security is always going to make sure that they're maintaining the legal capacity within the space. So codes or not, they'll never go over capacity. Not saying the codes isn't a bad idea. I'm just saying that that's a surefire way to make sure that we're maintaining the correct capacity within the space that we're allotted.
And I just want to tack on to that the second block was also a recommendation per the city.
City's looking for money, I guess.
It just seems to be, it seems to be going against SAPO's own embargo that they go through the process of doing a rules hearing every year to refresh.
I believe it's because they have the community element to it that the mayor's office really wants to support this event and why they've supported them so far in helping with the planning and advising on it. So as far as suggesting to take on the second block, that was a recent suggestion that they've made. And we're just going off of that and wanting to be compliant with everyone.
Did you cold reach out to the mayor's office, or do they have some sort of involvement in wanting to push
Selena from the mayor's office says right now this does not go against our rules. This is not a multi-block festival. You can see it in the chat.
It's on multiple blocks, so.
Oh, I'm just quoting what she wrote in the chat on the meeting right now.
Yeah, we also didn't cold outreach. They were referred to us by our contact at Hot 97.
Cool, thank you.
All right, let's do Darlene and then Pete. Darlene, let me promote you. Darlene, you can speak.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Yay, because last time it didn't work. Thank you for allowing me to speak on this event. Darlene Lutz, Soho West, NYC. I am a longtime resident of this neighborhood and very familiar with these blocks in particular because I have been involved in a lot of meetings and discussions with many of the businesses on this block, and very recently. These two blocks were open streets, and there has been a lot of discussion about whether they remain or not, because it really, really affected the entire neighborhood of having them closed. That is an ongoing discussion because the DOT doesn't seem to hear the community board on the view that this was not good for the community. In regard to this long event, these are terribly residential. This is mixed use. This is a small mixed use portion of Soho, west of West Broadway. There are many elderly who live there. They don't go away for the weekends. They are captive in their homes. And this seems like an enormous event in less than 3 weeks that no one knows about. And that's just to begin with. We know about amplified sound, and you have a very popular radio station, with a lot of noise, with a lot of sound for 9 hours. This seems so far out of the boundaries of what is civilized to bring into a neighborhood where people live. Seriously. Whether you're going mochi dochi, I'm looking vacant. No. You don't know where this is. There have been businesses moving in. I'm kind of writhing because we've been in discussion with the restaurants. Also, what about the restaurants? Oh, we're going to set up, vendors to have food on this other street. And Spring Street being closed, Spring Street is a throughway through Soho. That was one of the discussions that we've been having since COVID, because it diverts traffic, will turn into, from 6th Avenue, onto Spring Street, and then have nowhere to go but up a very small street now that's cluttered with outdoor dining sheds into a smaller neighborhood in Soho on a weekend.
I think we're on the same page.
Message received.
Yeah.
My mind is kind of blown because it's like, no big deal. People just got to get over it. We're going to do this event. And the mayor. Well, yeah, I have choice words right now. But I won't say them but it's too much. It's not good for the businesses, existing businesses there. It's not good for this neighborhood. It's not good to set this precedent. I don't care what the mayor's office says.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Darlene. I think Pete had his hand raised too.
Yeah, thank you. I agree with the committee that the size of what is proposed here is really irregular. I have no memory, I've been monitoring these kind of things for quite a while, of any event that required 20 to 23 security people So if we could get some clarification from the applicant team, why that number of security people would be required on this little street. I think that would be helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, Pete, to address your question, it's 20 plus security guards across the 2 blocks, which feels more than enough. And we're honestly kind of like in the overkill territory to ensure a safe event. Darlene, I think that was your name. Going back to some of the things that you addressed, our intention is not to leave out any of the businesses across the 2 blocks. Like I mentioned, we're in the process of reaching out to everyone to sort of inform them about the event and to see the ways in which the businesses would like to participate. And if the length of the event, the 9 hours, the 1 to 10 p.m. that I mentioned is an issue, we're happy to discuss, be flexible and adjust to something that maybe the neighborhood is more comfortable with.
I think, yeah, I mean, I think you've kind of heard how everyone feels about it. I don't know if it's worth continuing on. I don't think necessarily short, I mean, short is always better, but I don't think that's going to change, I think, the reaction overall. So I think it's best to leave it there. I think everyone's got their word in, and I think we sort of understand where we are. So.
Would you actually consider making it a 1 block event, as was asked before, now that you heard everybody talking about it?
Would that change anything? I mean, you're the one who's proposing it, but it seems like everyone else sort of has their minds made up. So we're just
I think if it were a 1 block event, we would potentially approve it with recommendations about community outreach and, you know, attention to noise levels and engagement of the businesses, et cetera. I think 2 blocks, we are not going to approve it. So I think the strong feelings from some of the folks from the public don't necessarily mean that the committee would reject it out of hand if it were just 1 block.
But you have to come back because it would have to require a rethinking of the whole design.
Right. If we were to reduce to 1 block, would that also mean that the current event time would still be able to stand, or would we need to adjust that as well? So the 1 to 10?
We wouldn't be able to hear, well, first of all, we wouldn't be able to hear it for this
right.
This date, because it's in 3 weeks, so.
Oh, I see.
And I mean, it sounds like if you're just jamming all this into a single block, I mean, I don't know, we can't speculate, right? It's a different event, and we'd have to hear again what the new event would look like. But I think as it stands now, we can't really get behind.
It's not really jamming it all into 1 block. It actually started in 1 block. It was the suggestions of the mayor's office to expand to 2 blocks. So they would really just be going back to the original filing that they did in May. All the process that they started in May already, speaking with the SAPO office and everyone else. So this was just a recent addition with the mayor's office suggesting us to move into the 2nd block. So ultimately we would be kind of working off of what we already have.
Well, we don't have that in front of us, so we can't review it right now.
But that sounds frustrating.
You can always come back, and
I'm sorry to hear that the mayor's office recommended those changes that made it less viable from our perspective.
No, and I completely understand. I mean, we can continue to follow up with Florence in email, and I believe she actually does have that original site diagram, right, Shawnee? I believe so.
Yeah, she has everything
submitted initially. So this is just what we had most recently advised. So absolutely, we can follow up with you further in email if that's the best course.
all right, but yeah, I mean, we can't talk about a new event right now, so we have to move on, right? So, but thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So we're going to move on to number 10, Use to the People Camp, Gansburg Plaza. Voting you.
Hi there.
Hi.
Hi, everyone. We're next to each other. Let me mute one. Can you hear me? Oh, wait. There you go. There we go. Hi, everyone. Excited to be speaking with you all today. My name is Ria. I'm one of the co-founders at Kin Studios, and I head up creative strategy and partnerships. And I'm joined here with Alex today, who heads up production and creative ops. So we're really excited to jump into this event that we've been working through and share all of the exciting details that entails. So with that, we'll jump into it. Our client is a California-based skincare brand called Youth to the People. And just to share a brief background about them, they are really built on this idea that what you put on your skin should be as natural and effective as what you put in your body. So they're a brand that really blends these clean formulas with this commitment and ethos to community, sustainability, and inclusivity, which we know is super important as a factor of the neighboring businesses in the area. So jumping into the event, this summer, Youth to the People, they're bringing a new skincare product to market. It's a sunscreen called Youth Screen. And to support that announcement in the New York City market, our team is producing a campground-inspired brand pop-up that we're calling Camp Youth at Gansevoort on the 26th. And what this Camp Youth experience will entail, and Alex can touch on that in greater detail throughout our run of show, is this nostalgic inspired campground where both the public, press, and social creators will sample free products. They'll interact with a lot of camp style photo moments, have games to participate in, face painting, and receive non-alcoholic spritzers to kind of keep cool during the event. So a lot of community-driven activities throughout the day. And speaking of which, the hours of our event are from 2 to 7 p.m. with a private creator hour from 2 to 3. That's focused a bit more on gifting, and our consumer hours from 3:30 to 7 p.m. We're targeting about 500 attendees, and how we'll be managing that event flow. We'll have the designated wristbands where each guest will have about an hour to explore the campground area. And with that, I can toss it over to Alex so she can walk everyone through run of show. Do you want to mute and then I'll mute? Yeah. Cool. Hi. Oops. Cool. Hi, everyone. I think before I jump into anything, are there any questions or should I just kind of move forward and pull up the event itself?
And pull up what you have.
Okay, cool. Give me 1 second. Okay. Cool. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so just like Rhea said, we're kind of bringing this one-day pop-up activation that gives this very kind of nostalgic campground feel. It is an all-free event. And just kind of starting here from the front, we'll have 2 queue lines. And the way that guests can kind of RSVP for this event ahead of time, there will be a Splash That invite that's released. Where guests can basically sign up for different hour slots. So there'll be an RSVP line that kind of gives expedited entry into the space if you had signed up earlier from the event. And then for any kind of like bypassers who are interested in seeing the event, they'll kind of come into the walk-up line and then they'll be allowed into the event based off of kind of the flow of RSVP. We'll have 2 check-in people that will be checking people in on iPads. Like Rhea had mentioned, once they check in, they'll receive a colored wristband. We'll have different colors for each hour, and then they'll also receive a drink ticket, which they can redeem at the spritzer bar, which again is non-alcoholic, so that they can kind of get a cool refreshment since it's July and it's hot outside. Moving further into the space, on the right-hand side here, this is a youth cabin. So this is where guests can kind of get a skin consultation with a UV machine and an iPad and kind of talk to one of our brand ambassadors that will be in that space. And then they'll also receive some free sample products from Youth to the People as well to take home with them. Here in the middle, we will have a vintage Bronco as our photo moment for guests to take pictures with. It will not be wrapped. It will just have a branded license plate and a small vinyl hit on the right side, but it will be in front of a backdrop. Also just something to note as we further talk about this, nothing is over a 10-foot build.
As we move further through the space behind the car, this is where we have face painting, and we also have a high striker, so it's kind of like carnival camp games. We'll have a DJ. Then we'll have the one spritzer bar, which will be sponsored by Olipop, which is a non-alcoholic spritzer brand. And then we will have a charm station where guests can make keychains with little charms that have their initials and kind of set their summer intentions. I'm just going to move to the next slide really quick.
And this is, sorry, this is only from 3:30 to 7?
This is from 2 to 7. And so from 2 to 3 o'clock, that will mainly be focused for creators and press to come in. And what that is just for them to come see the space before we fully open up at 3:30 so that they could take some quick photo ops and then pick up their gifting. And then at 3:30, we'll officially let in the public. Sorry, I want to show you the egress. And so the build that you saw in the previous, we have accounted for the 5 feet of egress inside the outer perimeter. And then I can also talk you through our staffing plot as well. So for security, we'll have one during load in, one during load out. And then for live event hours, we'll have one at check-in. And then we'll have 3 that are kind of along this outer perimeter where the boulders are. And they'll kind of just be there as floaters to just make sure that everything is going okay. And then also just encouraging guests to funnel in through the queue line that they'll see on, I believe that's Washington Street. That's right there. And then
when does load in start and when does load out end?
Load in will start at 5 a.m. and then load out will start at 7:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you push the load out to 6? We don't load in because we try to avoid anything before 6 because people are living in the area right near there.
Are we able to do, is it possible for the cars to just pull in at 5 and we do like a silent load in where it's just kind of at least like placing things that there's no drilling or anything? Because most of the things we're bringing into the space, because we do already have such a short load in, it's being pre-built. So there's not that much building. It's more like a lot is being pre-built to then place and then kind of do touch-ups to things that are there.
Yeah, I think if you're just like securing spots and stuff at 5, that's fine. You just don't like to have it like a parking spot.
Yeah.
You don't like to have any construction start before 6.
Yeah, that's no issue.
And load out complete by 7?
No, load out. So the event ends at 7. So
Yeah.
we'll really start to load out at 7:30 and then we'll probably be done around like 10:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I cut you off.
No, no worries. And then for this activation, of course, we'll have brand ambassadors that are there to kind of help with guest flow, making sure that the space is clean. We'll also have trash bins, recycling, and we'll have about 17 BAs throughout the space.
Will the DJ be playing continuously from 2 to 7?
Yes.
And for your like capacity, you mentioned that you're doing both RSVPs and having people like walk in. What % of the capacity is like being reserved for people who are walking in?
So we feel that, I mean, we've done events in the past and there's usually like per hour about like a 20% attrition. So we're kind of like because right now we're looking at maybe about 75 to 100 in the space. So just saving about 20 for people who are walk-ins. But also we understand that like guests sometimes can't come into the space. So we also have a plan for like giveaways to people that maybe aren't able to make it into the space so that people still walk away happy.
Yeah, like will you cut off the line at a certain point if it's getting too long and like ask people?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely best practice. And you know, Aubrey was talking about that earlier. Okay.
But it's helpful to have the pre-registration.
Yeah.
And are you using the hookup, electric hookup, or do you have a generator?
We will need access to the electrical hookup, specifically just for the DJ. And then we are going to have these mini silent generators that are just in the check-in area and the youth cabins that we can plug charging stations into. I can follow up with what those look like because I'm not entirely sure, but they're kind of
That's
like.
fine. That's fine, yeah. And I assume you've been coordinating hopefully with the meatpacking bid?
Yes.
Process? Okay, great. I don't have any more. You guys have any more?
No. Seems
All right.
very well thought out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for the detailed plans.
Yeah, very helpful.
Thank you all.
All right.
Bye.
Okay, next up, July 27th, Hourglass Cosmetics, 14 prints. Please raise your hand. Hourglass Cosmetics, anybody? Yes? Go. Promoting.
EMF Media.
There we go.
Sophia.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hi, Sophia.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good, how are you?
Good. Let me just turn on my screen. Hi, everyone. My name is Sophia. I'm an associate producer working at BMF Media Group. And I'm here today to talk about our event taking place on July 27th. I'm also joined by a couple people from my team. So if any questions come up, we have a team to answer your questions.
Okay, if they want to raise their hands, I can promote them.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So our event, we are working with Hourglass Cosmetics on a public/private event taking place on July 27th in their Nolita flagship store, which is a corner property off of Prince and Elizabeth Street. And essentially, the two main components of this are a matcha cart, which will be serving complimentary matcha drinks to passerbys that are on that street, as well as a photo wall that will be on the Elizabeth side of the street, basically to engage guests that are coming by, and again, have that promotional moment there. But it's all relatively contained. Again, the biggest piece I would say would be the matcha cart, which we are, again, we filed for a sidewalk permit to alleviate any concerns around the line queue. And we've also hired security staff to help with any, line queue management as well. I do have some renderings as well, just to give you an idea. So if I do have sharing capacity, I will do that.
Go for it.
Should be able to.
Awesome. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Oops. So this is a view from the corner, which you can see both sides of Prince and Elizabeth Street. So on this main side, you'll see it's about a 9x6 size photo wall, which will be pretty simple fabricated photo moment. And then on the Prince Street side, we do have that, that simple matcha service cart there, which we're working with a catering vendor to manage all service as well as disposal of any garbage and sanitation there. And here is a zoomed in version of the photo moment with some details of how it will be built. And this is a view from the Prince Street side, as well as the main entrance. Again, this is where we'll be serving complimentary matchas.
You talk about how many people do you expect and how many samples you're going to give out? Or I guess not samples, how many matchas you're going to give out?
Yeah, so considering it is on a Sunday, we are expecting about 300 to 500 people just over the course of the day. As far as the hours of operation, this will be available as of 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And the photo moment will be available probably around 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So looking into the consumer hours of operation, those will be available in store from 4 to 6 p.m. So all of this outdoor activation is really just to incentivize people to come back later for that in-store service time. But in the morning into the early afternoon hours, it will be a private event inside the store. It's like a private beauty class inside of the store.
Okay. I guess we see these kind of things all the time. I think my main question would just be line management here, because it seems a little bit complex because you're gonna have people going into the store, you're gonna have people trying to get matcha, and you're gonna have people trying to get a photo moment. So how do you plan on managing all of that?
If you
Yeah,
go
so-
back to the image with the full, that this is a good place to talk through.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned, we did file for a sidewalk permit for the Prince Street side, which is that entrance side of the store, and we are actively also filing for a permit on the Elizabeth side. So with those two permits, we feel that we'll be covered as far as managing any expectations with the neighborhood. And like I mentioned, we also will have security staff there to kind of make sure that people aren't crowding too much and
Right. I guess my question though is beyond the permits, like physically, what are you planning on doing? Like, is it 2 separate lines? Is it 3 separate lines? Can you talk about that?
it will be one main line for the matcha and one main line for the photo moment. Again, both will be managed by the security staff as well as our production team, which will be on site as well.
Is the idea that next to the matcha cart, will people be lining up away from the store along the wall? And will there be like a stanchion and rope to cordon that off, or just the brand ambassador or security will direct people?
So a combination of both. We will have, as I mentioned, the security staff to kind of help with the queue containment. And what we are planning for is for that queue to stay on the curb side of the sidewalk to alleviate anyone that is coming in and out of neighboring stores. So that'll be controlled on that side as well.
That's what we often see. Yeah.
You're really not gonna have a lot of real estate for lines going down Prince Street. There's a lot of businesses there. And so you're either gonna have to be like pretty resolute at cutting off a bunch of people for a pretty short queue. Or like move people really fast.
And same on Elizabeth, there's like no room. And then
There's a little more on Elizabeth.
14, you hit a residential entrance pretty quick, but yeah.
Yeah, but there's more space there.
Yeah.
So that's my concern, is you really gotta have your security people like ready to kick people out at the end of the line.
Definitely.
I think also on the Prince Street side, you should talk to the stores that people will be lining up across from, so they know that this matcha cart's gonna be there and that there's gonna be a line and that you're gonna manage it. I think, for this kind of thing, we would love to see like a diagram of where the rope and stanchion would be and kind of what storefronts it goes past and that kind of stuff. I think we can like imagine it, but that's going to be the issue on the day that comes up is the management of people.
Absolutely.
You mentioned about security a couple of times. My question is, how much security will you have?
Yeah, we're planning to have 3 security outside of the space to, again, manage the photo moment and also have someone managing the line queue and then having someone to float in between as needed.
How long are people gonna be like taking at this matcha cart? Do they just like grab a drink that's pre-made and leave? Do they like order? What's my plan?
Exactly. There's only one matcha on the menu. It's a strawberry matcha. So they'll essentially be just handing them out. They'll be pumping them out as they go. So it should be a relatively fast queue line. And our team is fully prepared to have everything stocked in the cart to have that fast service.
And will you be there, Sophia?
Sorry?
Will you or someone from your team be there?
Yes, I will be there as well as a couple others from my team.
Okay. And you guys won't be stenciling anything on the sidewalk, right?
Absolutely not.
And have you reached out to 14 Prince, the residential building there with the entrance on Elizabeth? If not, I think you should ASAP.
Okay. From what I understand, it is the private property of the Hourglass store that we've been working through. But I can take that back as well.
Yeah, so presumably they're in a position to notify the residents then pretty easily.
Yes.
This is just to give them a friendly heads up to be a good neighbor.
Sorry?
This is just to be a good neighbor and give them
the
a friendly
residents.
heads up that this will be happening.
Definitely.
Anybody else? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Good night.
Okay, next we have the Cornelia Street Block Party, August 3rd. Voting Fraser, hello, welcome. Is this the same block as the other one?
Yes. Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, hi.
Hey guys. My name's Fraser. I'm a resident of Cornelia Street, and yes, this is the same street that Kathy presented on. We have different dates though. Should I just jump straight into it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm a resident of Cornelia Street. I've lived on the street for 2 years. I have filed a application for a block party on Cornelia Street. It's between West 4th Street and Bleecker Street on August 3rd, which is a Sunday. The setup time I've applied for is from 12:30 p.m. The start time will be 1 p.m. and time will be 9 p.m. and breakdown will be 9:30. We will not have any scissor lifts, painting, generators, power tools, or other lights. We will not have any pop-up activations. We plan to have tables and chairs for a long lunch / long dinner situation, which I will share my screen in a second to present on. We anticipate 300 to 400 attendees. We door knocked on every single apartment in our street, and we gathered over 100 signatures. I believe there's about 200 residents on our street, and I've included those signatures in our application. We won't have any giveaways. We will have music, and we'll comply with sound permit and any guidance from the local police department. We're not going to have DJs or anything like that. It's just going to be a Spotify radio playlist. Nothing loud at an acceptable volume and respectable volume. In terms of how we be promoting the event, it'll mainly be primarily word of mouth, flyers for our Cornelia Street neighbors. We will not feature any celebrities or influencers. Footpaths will not be blocked to allow pass-through foot traffic. We'll have extra trash receptacles on site. The safety plan I submitted as well, I can speak to that if that's necessary.
Sure, quickly.
Okay, cool. So we'll use Department of Transportation approved barricades to block off the streets at each end. We'll have volunteers to monitor the barricades to prevent unauthorized vehicles from entering. We will have the barricades be movable in case emergency vehicles, ambulances, fire department, police need to enter. Volunteers will be stationed to clear access immediately if required. We'll have at least 1 to 2 adult volunteers stationed on either side. So that's on West 4th and Bleecker Street to help with crowd safety, monitor activities, and keep the pathways clear. On the noise and behavior side, I mentioned it earlier, but we'll comply with New York City noise ordinances. No alcohol will be sold or distributed. We'll have designated person in charge of during the event to coordinate with the NYPD and fire department if needed. A basic first aid kit will be provided on site, and we'll contact 911 for any emergencies. I'll share my screen to show the.
So just while you're doing that, so I see you have a letter from Kathy in Central Village. So they're supportive of this. Why don't you guys just combine? I mean, I'm glad to see it's kind of interesting. They were presenting earlier too.
They're throwing her and Life throwing a different type of get together.
Yeah,
a long lunch. Theirs is more of a music catered.
Okay. But they're supportive. Bottom line, they support this, and you have 200 residents that signed your things.
Over 100 signatures. Okay. There are about 200 residents on the street. So the reason why I quoted that is just to give context in terms of we've received.
Okay. Great. No, that's great. I was going to ask if there was block association support. So good to see that.
Yeah. Kathy was able to provide us with a letter of recommendation. I'm just trying to share my screen, but I'm having some permission issues. Just give me 1 second, guys.
Are you associated with any business on the block?
No, we're not. Okay. it's asking me to quit Zoom to like restart Zoom if I show my
Well, what are
screen.
what are you trying to share?
The site plan.
I think I can do that.
Okay, great.
Give me a sec.
Yes, I sent it over email.
I don't know why
And you said you contacted the residents?
Yeah, me and some other residents on the street knocked on everyone's doors and explained what we were doing and got signatures.
You said there was going to be.
How many people did you contact?
Well, every single apartment door on our street, we got 102 signatures, I believe. We only had one person that I think they had a child, and they were like, you know,
I have to say amongst like true block party applications, this is one that actually has the most organization in terms of the block association letter.
Amazing. Okay, fantastic. This is like a crude mock-up too. I'm sorry. It's not as pretty as some of the other like designers that came on tonight, but so the green is just representing the tables and chairs. We'll bring them in. The blue are the barricades. The people are the volunteers who'll be stationed on all the exits. First aid kit. Pretty simple. We're not going to have, again, no sponsored, no advertising, no alcohol or anything like that. Just a long lunch dinner for the residents and friends to get together.
So you mentioned that the people that are going to be stationed are volunteers. Are there going to be any like professional security detail, or like who are these volunteers that are going to be doing that? Like, why are they qualified?
The other neighbors on the street.
Block parties are typically low events. They don't.
Where's the food and beverage coming from?
It'll be what BYO. I tried looking into all the food permit stuff and it looked like a nightmare. So I figured it's just like, we'll have the tables and chairs and then you just order your own food and bring it.
That's typically what we see for block party. So I think it's easier that way.
Yeah.
I think it's good. Yeah. This is a well-organized block party.
Good job, Fraser.
We don't always see that. So
I did have some questions though. On the food distribution side, if like I ordered pizzas just to give out, there are a few like food applications or different permits that you can get. Is that typically not allowed? When you said it's common for people just ordering their own food to consume themselves, is it not really allowed for me to distribute food to residents?
I don't, yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
That's okay.
I feel like
it seems
yes.
okay.
I feel like yes, but we aren't the authority.
Worth checking with SAPO, but I don't have the answer right now.
I think
it seems okay.
I could just email correspondence to Christopher Lorient. So I guess I can Christopher.
Email him, but it seems okay to me.
My recollection from SAPO's presentation on this was that that's the point of block party.
That's kind of what they want. Yeah.
You're out there sharing food with neighbors.
Yeah.
Like
okay, great.
Selling it.
And you're not cooking it.
Yeah.
No, not
right.
Just
bringing it.
Doesn't matter. I don't think.
Right. No, you have to have, if you're cooking, you have to have a permit.
Well, people
cooking on the street.
People can cook their own food inside.
If you like grilling.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, so you're saying you can't grill on the street, but you could cook in your apartment and bring it out.
Correct. You can't grill on the street. Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Is there a particular occasion why you'd want to do this on this particular date?
Yeah, I mean, there's 15 of us on the street who have met, and we're like a family. Like on weekends, someone might say I've baked cookies, come over, or someone might say they've cooked dinner. So I just we've got a really good community on the street. Would love to meet everyone else on the street to broaden that community. And it just seems like a fun thing to do.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much.
Other questions for us?
No.
Okay.
All right.
See you.
Thanks for joining.
Bye.
All right. Next we have Carmine Street Cookout. We have anyone on Carmine Street Cookout? Food with fam? No? Okay. Next we have cosmetic pop-up, Geo Art Promotions, August 14th and 15th, Astor Place. Anybody from Geo Art Promotions? No? Okay, we have, next we have Dairy Boy, August 15th. Should I promote all the Adam?
Will the real Adam Battaglia please stand up?
I'm gonna go ahead and promote all these. I'm assuming they're like this one. A lot of people.
Identical templates.
Okay.
Howdy, everybody.
Hi.
I promoted all the Adams.
We're here.
All right, welcome. Please go ahead.
Hey, everybody. My name is Adam Battaglia. I'm the co-founder of a experiential design and production company called Parti. And we are producing in conjunction with Shopify and Dairy Boy, a pop-up in the middle of August. It's a weekend event, the 15th, 16th, and 17th. And we have put in requests for permits for the street for curbs for parking trucks for load in during the week, and the line queue on the sidewalks as well for the weekend.
Okay, so it's a pop-up and there's no element of the activation outside. This is for production and line queue only?
Yeah, that's correct.
No food, beverage, or sound outside?
No food, beverage, or sound outside, no.
All right, can you talk us through what the queue, how many people you expect and what the queue looks like and what security looks like and all that?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me share a little bit from our deck here. Are you all able to see the screen?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, great. This gives like a nice representation. It includes both the sidewalk as well as a little bit of the inside footprint. But it's a retail pop-up, so we have significant, security and brand ambassadors, as well as plans for stanchions along the sidewalk in order to manage the flow. We look for best advisement in terms of the line going towards either Houston or Prince. There on Green Street, but we have a very significant number of brand ambassadors. I believe there will be roughly 10 security guards, which would have a little bit of a presence inside the store as well as outside. And then this is a bit of an overview of, we've highlighted the store here in green and representation of a couple of trucks that we would park out there in the days leading up to the event on the weekend, as well as one truck that would stay parked on the permitted side of the street throughout the activation, which would serve as sort of a extra inventory holding and things like that. So if it needs to flow inside the store, we can have it close by. But for the most part, the event all takes place inside. We do have a little expectation of, putting a flower box up against the building, but it doesn't seem to inhibit any of the guest flow or anything like that. But as far as anything on the exterior, that would be the only thing we have so far that would be placed out there. And working with a really experienced fabrication company called Cigar Box Studios, which regularly does retail build outs, both for long-term and pop-ups. So everyone's very mindful of the neighborhoods and the needs to, really be inclusive of the neighbors and things like that.
I would be careful to make sure you don't block that Siamese connection.
Okay, fair enough.
So how many people do you expect to come to this event, and how long do you expect the line to grow, and how are you going to manage that?
How many people to expect to come? I believe it's a roughly, we're expecting around 1,000 over 3 days, which is not that significant. We're planning to let in about 100 to 150 people in about an hour. So that'll help keep the numbers down on the inside as well as bring people in from the street. What was the other question?
So, and can you talk about specifically the line management? Like, where's the line going to go? How many security do you have? When would you cut off the line? Stuff like that.
Sure. Yeah, the last guests will be allowed to enter at 6:30 at night. As far as security goes, Shopify, the venue, is providing all of the security given that this is very much more, this is their space as well as their partnership in the event. So they've told us they're providing 10 guards, the people that they usually use whenever they host a pop-up in their space. And as far as the line goes, we refer to best practices, and if the line should go south towards Prince or north towards Houston. But we do have significant stanchions ready to provide whatever sort of line queue and sidewalk. I'm blanking on the word right now.
So there was a previous event at this location that originally presented a curb lane and sidewalk closure, and then they ended up closing off the whole street, and it caused huge traffic issues. Can you guarantee that you will not be closing off the entire street?
Yeah, definitely. I can't speak to that other event, but there's no indication that anything of that sort is even remotely considered or.
Right, you weren't associated with the Fenty event in May, were you?
No, I've never heard of it nor been a part of anything of that sort.
Are the attendees pre-registering, or is this meant to capture people walking by?
I believe it's to capture people walking by. There's really no ticketed or pre-outreach sort of a thing. So
I think given that it means that, the line length and timing of clustering will be unpredictable. And so I think that's why, we think that rather than letting the line get too long or snake around the block, there should be a plan to cut it off at a certain point, and tell people to come back.
Sure.
So just like to have in advance a sense of how far will you let the line go, and at what point will you cut it off?
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, we're happy to cut off the line at whatever place and time that is advised. Our goal is really to make it a smooth experience for the guests as well as, people in the community that will be working alongside. So as far as I believe that the other items on here, but our sidewalk goes down from Houston to Prince. So
can you go back up maybe one slide?
Yeah, sure thing.
So you would run the line towards Prince?
I believe so, yeah, but we're open to whatever makes the most sense.
Would you consider giving wristbands with time frame for people to show up at certain times if the line starts getting too long?
Yeah, I think so. There hasn't really been any consideration yet, as far as I'm aware, for a larger sort of organized time arrangements. But I think that's a great idea that maybe towards the end of the day, we could give out some sort of wristbands so that folks have maybe some sort of priority to entering the next day, so they don't feel like, they'd have to get into a new line or, something the following day.
What is the activity? Like why would people want to come into this? What is it?
It's a fashion retail brand and they're only represented online throughout the year. So this is just one of their opportunities to kind of have a space that kind of fully embodies the Dairy Boy brand. So some of the scenic fabrications inside will have a very sort of themed Connecticut equestrian sort of feel to it. There's provided dressing rooms, there's places to buy pajamas and bed sheets and things like that, as well as, work with the transactional point of sale stuff is all managed through Shopify.
Yeah, I mean, looking on Street View, I don't know. It's maybe others have a different view, but it seems running the line towards Houston almost might be better, because if you run towards Prince, there's, at least on Street View, there's a bunch of planters in front of the Polo store that you'd hit, and there's a city bike stand. So it's a bit congested.
Okay.
Pretty wide sidewalk towards Houston, but again, I'm not an expert on this block. But
either way, just talk to whichever businesses and residences the line will pass so they know that this is.
Absolutely. We've had weekly chats with the Shopify production team, and they're very they're very familiar with kind of letting their neighbors know and making sure that everything goes as smoothly as possible.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I know you weren't part of the last one, but we're going to be watching this one closely because Shopify with the Fenty one was not what they originally presented. But in any case, that was not your fault. So.
Yeah, sorry to hear that. We really love to make sure that, you know, people in your community as well as the guests, everything just feels like it goes seamlessly.
Thank you.
Do you expect this to be happening on a certain basis, a yearly, twice a year, once a year? What is the story?
I can't really speak to that, to be honest with you. That's more for the brand. But from what we understand is, I think last year they had one in Ann Arbor, Michigan. It was more for collegiate students and things like that. So this is our first time working with them in this capacity. But everything they've shared with us so far is their guests are very pleasant, very orderly. Their retail is very, you know, sort of quaint and cute and things like that. So you know, we hope to have a really nice experience for everybody.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
All right. I think the last one is NYC Century. Am I skipping any? I believe, let me just double check. I think everything else is moving behind that is August. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. NYC Century. Who do we have? Anna Nicole. Promote you. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having us. We are thrilled to be here today. Hi, I'm Aubrey Fennekin. I'm the Director of Development at Transportation Alternatives. We are a 50-plus-year-old 501c3 nonprofit in the city whose mission is to transform our streets into safe, sustainable, and equitable places to walk, bike, take transit, gather, and thrive. So we're very aligned. We are really committed to making this event really safe and really positive for CB2's streets. I am joined by my colleagues, Nicole Rodriguez, who is the manager of the event we're about to speak about, and I will pass it on to her. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. It's nice to meet you all. My name is Nicole Rodriguez. I'm the Events and Partnerships Manager here at TA. I've been with the organization for 3 years.
Welcome.
Thank you. And I'll pass the mic over quickly to Eric to introduce himself as well.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. My name is Eric Berghofer. I work on the logistics and production for our event. I've been with TA for 10 years. One of my first events was actually a 2015 NYC Century that we had. So yeah, it's been 10 years.
Great. Go ahead, please. Let's hear it.
Okay. Aubrey, when you have a moment, we'd love to screen share.
Yes, I am going to have to quit and rejoin. I'm having a permission issue.
I can do it. I can do it.
We'll share.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'm assuming this is the right one here.
It's slightly amended the version we were going to present, but I think it'll suffice for this, and we can resend the version that we have.
Okay.
Okay. So this event is taking place on September 21st, 2025. It's a joyful celebration of the Safe Streets movement here in New York City and celebrates also local cyclists. It's also a memoriam of Roger Hertz, who was a Safe Streets advocate. So a little bit of history on the event. This is going to be the 31st annual. It supports our broader mission to create safer, equitable streets here in New York City. We, as an advocacy organization, represent pedestrians, public transit users, and cyclists. We advocate for them across all 5 boroughs, and we have relationships with CB2. This event really sort of speaks to the themes of, just one moment, thank you. Speaks to the themes of open streets, community block parties, safe streets, and public transportation, as well as sustainability. The majority of our event attendees are all from the local New York City tri-state area.
Great. Next. Is that okay?
Yes, thank you.
Perfect. So I'll go through the site maps for everyone. This is our proposed start line. We've been working the entire time with the Whitney Museum and also the bid, trying to make sure that they're on board and they're supported and that we have their support as well. So we do need to add another permit for the Gansevoort Street start line. But this is what we're looking at. Also calling out that it's basically like a staggered setup. So Gansevoort Street is not going to be closed for the entire day, and 10th Ave is not going to be closed for the entire day. So basically what happened, we start at the start line on Gansevoort Street. We shut all that down and basically move to 10th Ave. So
oh, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting I'm sharing my whole screen. Here we go.
Thank you.
So basically, cyclists are going to enter on the left side of the street near the corner of 10th Ave and Gansevoort. We have typically 3 to 4 tents that are set up where cyclists can check in. Really helps to minimize the line. And each of those tents has basically 2 check-in queues. Like, so we're hitting a lot of cyclists at one time just to get them into into the start line. Once they go through those check-in tents, they then filter down a little bit further. We have basically the bib tables where they'll pick up their bibs and put them on their jerseys and so on. This way, it really reduces the amount of bunching that we have at the tents. And then once they have their bibs, they proceed down to the start line, which is at the corner of Gansevoort and Washington. This is a fully permitted ride with NYPD as well. So there's an NYPD parade permit that's in, and NYPD typically sticks a detail, at least for our start line to help us get out onto the street. I think important thing to note is we have staggered starts. So with the first wave being the 100-milers who is doing the most amount of riding. So we release them between 6 and 6:30 a.m. There's a little bit of a break to kind of get the rest of the people in between, I think it's 7 to 7:30 and then 8 to 8:30. And then 8:30 till I believe 9:30, we'll have all the cyclists out of Gansevoort Street. It's really a pretty minimal setup, I would say. So it's pretty quick to break down and bring it over to 10th Ave. Calling out that there will be an NYPD sound permit for the duration of the day. The morning is going to be a little bit quieter. We do want to have sound. This way we can have some morning announcements, let people know, follow the rules of the road and so on. But those speakers will be at the start line and facing towards the Whitney Museum at a respectable level, of course. And I think that basically covers the start line. So we can go to the next slide, please. Actually, yeah, this slide has been changed, so we can go to the next one after this one, please. So this is our finish line, our finish festival. At this point, Gansevoort Street is open to whether it's traffic or if it's an open street. The cyclists come down Gansevoort, they make a right-hand turn onto 10th Ave, which they'll go under our finish line, and then it opens up to our festival. So on the left side of 10th Ave is where we have Bike Valet, which is essentially the participants come in, they check their bike in with us, we give them a tag, kind of the way coat check works, and then they're free to explore the festival and all that we have to offer. So
I'm going to jump in quickly and say that we intentionally picked this street because we were informed that it would be vacated and inactive starting at end of August. And so we wanted to be respectful and pick the wisest choice of a street that would be minimally impactful to the community.
Just to make sure.
Okay, go for it.
Sorry. So just to make sure I'm clear, can you just repeat the street for the starting festival? Like what block for the starting festival and what block for the finish?
Gansevoort for starting and 10th Avenue between Gansevoort and Little West 12 for finish.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
So you probably noticed at the top of the screen as well, like you see an alt location for food and drink village. That's something that we've been working exclusively with the bid on. We have their support. They'd like to activate this this street as well. So we're not quite sure yet if that's going to happen. But overall, I just want to say that we do have more than enough room for what we need. Just to give some perspective, we did this back in in 2018, we had 4,000 participants, and this was over in Central Park. And the footprint that we had at that point was about like 200 by 35 feet. And measuring out 10th Ave, first of all, we have half the amount of participants, and we also have 425 feet by 35. So double the footprint for half the people. And even in all the years past, and I've been working it since 2015, it's never been too many people.
So is this the first time it's in this particular location? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. And we intentionally reached out to the Whitney, the Meatpacking District, and Friends of the High Line to get their express support and to weigh in what would be important to them that would impact the quality of life. And so we've been actively having those conversations with them for, 5 to 6 months and have really closely vetted all the decisions we've made here.
What's the reason for changing locations year to year? Is it just to mix things up?
Yeah, it's more in line with our mission to be representing all 5 boroughs. Last year it was held in Brooklyn, so we decided to bring it to Manhattan this year. We also felt that the meatpacking has so much to offer. It's such a naturally very beautiful space. It's adjacent to the green, the green borough, the Greenway on 10th on 11th Avenue. So it gives us talking points to talk about some of our campaign wins to represent cyclists and pedestrians.
Got it.
We have between 1,000 and 5,000 people according to the application.
Yeah, the application specifies a section. We're expecting about 2,200, but we don't expect anyone to be present on any of them to be present all en masse. We're expecting more like somewhere between 50 and a couple hundred at any given time due to the staggered start, the fact that cyclists are then going and riding anywhere from 15 to 100 miles around the city and returning to the Finish Line Festival to have the snack and take photos with their friends and then carry on with their day.
Yeah, slide 9 shows that a little bit, that the breadth of where they'll be, they will be really dispersed throughout the 5 boroughs. So while it does say 1,500, we really expect, between 50 to 150 in any particular wave. That would be in meatpacking.
And you said you closely coordinate with the bid and they're very supportive of this?
Yes.
And sorry, did you mention you're still deciding on the food and drink festival, so that's a maybe? Or is that happening?
It has to happen. The cyclists will be quite hungry at that point.
Okay, sorry, I thought you said you were still deciding on one portion of it, but okay.
Little West 12, the bid might potentially activate that, and we're treating it almost like an overflow, but we have full capacity to execute it on 10th Avenue.
I get it now. Sorry, that was what the option was. Okay.
You also mentioned 2 security guards. Is that all you're going to have for all those people?
Oh no, we'll have a lot more than that. Yeah.
We will also have the full Transportation Alternatives organization is behind this event. So you've got Transportation Alternatives leadership. We will have volunteers. We will have trained marshals across the course, which is less relevant for this section, but we are being very, very secure and very safe in this entire process.
And you've done it 30 times before.
There is true. Okay, you have the MIP sound permit. Okay. And you mentioned here sanitation as well. Great, partnering with a trash pickup provider. So you're going to have a specific trash, like Carter come and pick up trash?
Yeah, the Whitney is going to connect us to their relationship.
Okay. Cool. All right. I'm going to stop that sharing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Okay. Yeah, so we're going to go into business session now. Let's go back to number 1. That was a no-show. That was the Club World Cup. Sorry, no, the first one we heard was the block party on the September 27th. I'm fine with that.
Number 14. Yeah.
So what my concern also, which I didn't raise during that time, is they're gonna have a stage. And how are they going to permit emergency vehicles from going through the street? They need to.
Depends on the size of the stage.
They've taken the whole street in the past. I want to mention that they cannot block, they have to give us
Yeah,
access.
I'm fine doing that. Yeah, mentioning that they're, we've proven
And
that
it's
they're.
interesting that they didn't want to combine because actually the gentleman that was here, he's the official, he's the performer. So now we have the other event and they don't want to,
Yeah.
they didn't want to mix.
This is a concert. They want to set up the chairs all as audience.
And I think for me, if the block association's behind both of them, it's fine.
It is the block.
I'd still prefer it.
It is himself.
That one is, but they're behind the other one too. They're okay.
No, I understand that, but the first one that we heard is the Black Association promoting the husband of the woman who runs the Black Association.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. All right, I'm fine with it. It's not, they're not, as long, I mean, they agreed, they said they won't sell anything this time, so. If they follow all the block party rules, I'm fine.
If they've done it 10 times before without passive blowback.
So we'll mention the emergency lane, and we'll mention that they agreed to follow the block party rules of no sales.
Yeah.
Right, we all good?
They said they were gonna have 100 seats, so.
Yeah, but those can be moved easily.
I know.
All right.
I've been to their block party, as I said before. But, I don't remember seeing any kind of notification for the buildings that are on the block, and I happen to know a few that are on the block.
All right.
And none of them that I know of got any notification, so it would be good for them to do outreach.
Okay. Are you still in favor, or are you gonna vote?
I'll vote in favor of it because
All
that's
right.
what it is.
So we're all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, let's go back to the first one. So all in favor of deny for no show?
Aye.
The first
All
one was a
okay?
no show, right?
Yes.
Number one is a no show.
Yep, so everybody in favor, anyone opposed or
No, that's
choose?
fine.
Okay. Number two is the garlic promo.
I think it's gonna be a cluster, but I'll
Yeah.
vote to approve.
It's gonna be what?
I think it's gonna be very congested, but I'll still vote to approve.
I want to clarify the no standing zone, 'cause I don't see how SAPO could have approved them for a no standing zone. But I'm okay with it contingent on it not being in a no standing zone, but if it is, then I want SAPO to clarify.
Okay.
All right, are we all okay with that?
Yeah.
Opposed? Abstain, recuse, okay. Check, approve, check on no standing. If it's no standing, then I think it's deny.
Correct.
So are we all okay with that if we find that out?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. The dirty cars, I'm generally fine with it. It's just cars and doesn't seem like it's gonna be that disruptive. Sounds like that might still not do it.
Yeah.
I was okay with that.
We all okay with that?
Yes.
Anyone opposed, abstain, recuse?
Free coffee, you have all the seniors waiting to get their free coffee.
Seems like a cool guy.
Yeah. Rubles is 8th Street.
Crochet. people.
Crochet.
I know, I live in the
Needles
space,
in the
it's
neighborhood.
big, so it's cool that they're able to queue it inside.
Yeah, it's great.
I was okay with that one.
All right, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed, abstain, recuse?
Number 5.
I think that's a no.
I would put it as a deny unless, like, if they get a line permit, I'm fine with it. But not wanting to spend the money on a line permit is not an acceptable reason to not get a line permit.
I think it's too late at this point, sorry.
Okay, 20 seconds.
I think we can deny it, given that we did not
There's
hear
no
an
line
associated application. For
Yeah,
anything
that's
other
what I
than
would do.
loaded. So.
I think we need
Is
to.
it too late for a line permit?
It's too late for
Too late for us to hear it.
So even if they applied for it, we wouldn't be able to.
Yeah. I think for big pop-ups, like it's been one of the biggest problems we faced is massive crowding. I think we need to really continue to push for line permits for all of those. That's my view. Because that's where we seem to have gotten the most complaints and issues.
Yeah.
Right.
Are we okay with that?
Yes.
So the answer is no for that one.
You're denying.
Deny.
Deny.
Any opposed, abstain, recuse? Okay. Gansevoort Plaza,
Ice sculpture, lotion.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it was
Like,
fine.
very organized.
Yeah.
We all in favor of that?
Aye.
Yes.
Why is everything pistachio now?
Beyond the scope of our committee.
Yeah, we should ask the climate impact of farming all those pistachios.
Yeah, that's right.
Any opposed, abstain, recuse on that one? Okay. Reset, that's a no-show.
Deny.
Deny, all in favor, say aye.
Aye, aye.
Opposed, abstain, recuse. Wet brush, we can't have a position on that because that was a miscommunication. that
Which one, number 8?
The office had, so they just weren't informed in time.
Which one, number 8?
Yeah. So we just have no position on that one. It's not fair to issue any statement, I think. I think that one's gonna be fine anyway. They're coordinating the master bid.
Oh, boy.
Those lines. 9, I think, is a deny.
Deny and accept.
Deny, I wrote no.
And I think
We
we
just can't open the door to multi-block.
I think that's all we have to say. I don't think we need to opine on the rest of it.
I will say, maybe I'm the sole person here, I'm fine with a multi-block event. I think though can be quite good. They seemed very underplanned, even considering that, and the workaround leaves that crosswalk open, which is very dangerous for this type of event. They have the full road closure. You can't just say, oh, I hope I would get it, or something like that. That's what they were saying. And very sketchy to keep referring to the mayor's office.
We don't even need to opine on the value of a multi-block block party because it's not allowed.
Yeah. It's interesting that SAPO was on here and saying, well, or that someone from CSUN was on it.
Clearly the mayor
seemed very sketchy in many ways.
It's a workaround.
Yeah, but the mayor's defying SAPO's.
Yeah, I think we need to clearly say we can't be having.
Well, the mayor's running for the mayor again.
Okay, so all in favor of denying that one, say aye.
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 Okay, unanimous deny. Youth people, again.
Camping, that was great.
I'm liking that a lot of the Gansevoort events are at least one day only.
Yeah.
This one they're coordinating with meatpacking, so I'm fine with, I think it's fine.
It's very well.
Any all in favor of that one?
Aye.
Aye.
I like the cool 3D rendering.
And I like the
Yeah.
fact that they're willing to do the wristbands.
Yeah. Any opposed, abstain, or recuse?
Not your card.
Yeah, this one's a little bit.
Erica's gonna be angry about this.
This one's a little bit.
It's underbaked. They don't really seem prepared for the lines.
So this is the same one that has had a couple pop-ups.
Is it?
Yeah, there was, who had it? Gosh, there was another one recently. It's West Barney's and now they've just done pop-ups. And the lines would always go down Elizabeth solely and nothing down Prince. And I think they're gonna have a lot of trouble with the matcha cart line down Prince. There's a lot of businesses there. But
it just seems like it's gonna be confusing because we people trying to go into the store and there's two separate things. You know what? Could they just put the matcha cart by the photo moment? We should recommend that.
Oh, yeah.
Then you can just have one line.
It's a good idea.
Get the matcha and take your.
Yeah, why didn't we think of that when they were here? I think we can't, I don't think we have any reason to deny it,
approve it,
but we should
we strongly suggest that we consider it.
consolidate, yeah,
It said 300 to 500 people.
over 5 hours.
I also think you can do a a street facing queue that isn't too disruptive to the residents at the building next door.
They also said only 3 security personnel, 1 for each line. How do you keep people in line with 3 people only, 1 for each line?
I think, okay. So we're okay approving and seeing how this one goes though?
Yeah. But I think we should make that recommendation.
You want to oppose or abstain? No. Block party number 2 on Cornelia.
I love this guy.
He actually had a letter from the block association.
100 signatures? That's wild.
Like this is.
I know the block. I have 2 buildings on that block. No one ever contacted us. So I don't know where the 200 people are coming from.
There's a letter that he
That's
said, there's a letter from Kathy in the Block Association, so I'm happy to see that because that's one of the requirements that CB2 has, so I'm okay.
Yep.
He wants hers too, don't forget.
Yeah.
Very wholesome guy too.
No, he seems like a very nice man. I wonder what building he lives
So
at.
charmable.
I know.
He could be one of my tenants for all I know.
Maybe. All right, any abstain or refuse or oppose? Okay, so that's unanimous. Carmine Street Cookout was no show.
Deny.
Deny.
Yeah, all in favor, deny.
Deny.
Any opposed, abstain, recuse. We should just look at that.
Well, the thing I'll say is like, you know, for money events, you know, I think deny. For Carmine Street Cookout, which I presume is a block party, is that what it was?
Carmine Street Cookout is a large street event large.
Oh, never mind. I was gonna say block parties, I feel like we should maybe try and find ways to help people get their events done, but if it's a large street event, then no, I don't care.
They're working with businesses.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll.
It working with them?
I'm just reading the application. Greenberg's Bagels.
They didn't come.
They didn't come.
It's a
Deny.
no-show.
Yeah.
Deny.
All right, cosmetic pop-up on Astor Place. That's a deny, no show. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, recused. Dairy Boy.
That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, look, we had problems with Shopify before. The Fenty event was a big problem because like we approved a curb lane closure and then they extended it without us knowing into a full block.
Yeah, well, that's not the applicant's fault.
Same thing?
I look.
Question him on that though.
What?
You question him on that.
Yeah, and it's
Oh, no.
not him.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
But I think if Shopify messes up again.
Then they're on our top list.
They're gonna be on our radar.
we're gonna-
10 guards.
So we're all okay, unanimous approve that one?
Yes.
Any opposed, abstained, recused, okay? NYC Century,
Love it.
Great.
and with the bid, I think they'll do very
I
well.
don't understand 2 security guards for 1,000 to 5,000.
I don't.
No, they said there would be more, they just didn't have the exact number. Usually, I mean, the meatpacking bid is generally really good with this.
Bike racing people are also very good about monitors.
Yeah.
I just wish that the people who ride their bicycles could be much more considerate of pedestrians.
Separate discussion,
Following
we can discuss that
That's
after the
outside
meeting.
That's another
Outside the
story.
scope.
We'll discuss that
bar.
after the meeting.
That's another
I feel the
story.
same way about cars.
All right, so we're all in favor of that, any opposed, abstained, recused?
Okay.
Number 1 of the renewal was withdrawn, that wasn't an actual renewal. But 2
Number
through
one?
15, 1 is withdrawn.
Wrong.
2 to 15,
Except for 14.
any issues? Except for 14, 2 through 13 and 15?
No.
I'm okay.
Yes.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, recused? Okay.
Move to adjourn.
Cool, any new business?
Erica, where's Erica today?
I figured out that it was very easy to make a calendar of all the events, Google Calendar with ChatGPT. So I'll share that link out to the committee and maybe just do it myself until I get tired of doing it. Or maybe see if staff can do it.
Yeah, I think we should. Anything we can do to make our lives easier. I think it's great.
Thanks for volunteering.
I think one other thing I just want to bring up, I think, given the pop-up, pop-ups continue to be one of our major issues. I'm curious to try to get a sense whether land use or someone else can help us of just what the exact rules are. Maybe or can help as well around pop-ups.
Like, yeah, I never tried to rent
I
any
don't
of
know
my.
if zoning even talks about short use commercial. So just something to think about. I'm just curious to understand.
When you have a pop-up, I think property owner would definitely require insurance certificates.
Yeah.
And that, and a contract between them and the
I just wonder if there's like a better way for us to track it or what, because that's generally where we see
problems?
That's most of the biggest issues we've had with crowding have been pop-ups that we didn't know about, didn't apply for any permit, didn't come for us. So something to ponder.
Are we gonna get, what's their face, San Gennaro in here?
I think next month next month. Yeah.
Cool.
When is it again? September?
September?
I think we should do that next month. Yeah, we will meet next month. I know not every committee does, but we have like two
Next month,
applications. We usually meet in August.
beginning.
Fun never stops
I'm
for
I'm on my
SAR.
way out in August.
What's that?
Are we adjourned?
It'll be the first Monday.
What day is that? Do you remember?
We'll figure it out.
To adjourn?
I moved to adjourn.
Yeah, we can adjourn. Thanks, everybody.
So moved.
The 4th?
Yeah, I believe so.
August 4th.